Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
All good, Dan Soder. All good. We're up and running. What's happening, brother? How are you?
What's up, Joe Rogan?
Very nice to meet you officially.
Very nice to officially meet you.
I've enjoyed your comedy online.
Thanks, man.
Nice to see you in person.
Friend of a friend, of multiple friends.
You're in the tight group of excellent people.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
You respect it.
Yeah, I got a lot of funny friends that are also fucking weirdos.
Yeah, well, I don't know a funny one that's not a weirdo.
Yeah, show me someone that's funny and they're not going to be, they can be quiet, but they're weird.
Everyone who tells jokes for a living is fucking weird.
Psychos and phonies. I said that to Santino. We're all either psychos or phonies.
Is there any phonies that are good, though?
They get found out.
Yeah, but it's only psychos then.
No, the phonies, they can trick you for a little. Because you got to have a little sweetness in it. And then they like whip it into, you know what it is? It's a Oz. The phonies are Oz. They have like the big booming voice and everyone's like, oh, and then it's just a guy behind a curtain. And you're like,
well, the scary for the phonies must be when they get caught stealing jokes. Because then they have to write all their own jokes afterwards, and they don't really know how to do that.
That's hard.
It's the hardest.
Dude, writing jokes?
It's the hardest. Coming up with premises, fleshing them out, trying to figure out the right way to do them.
Seeing people with better jokes?
Oh.
There's nothing more of a dick pusher in than seeing someone with a great bit, and you're like, oh, fuck, that's so good.
Especially on a subject that maybe you were thinking about talking about, dude. And then this guy has this fucking perfect bit about it. You're like, oh, my God, I missed it.
I was just in Nashville, and I saw Chris Porter do this bit about people that are worried about being chipped. I'm not going to give away the bit, but I watched it, and I watched the angles, and he got off stage, and I was like, I was mad at you by like the third tag. By the third tag, I was like, who the fuck is this guy writing a damn near perfect, where like the thought, it's not where you thought it was going to go, but it makes the most sense. You're like, fuck, dude, God damn it. Now you got to go back to your hotel room and hate your act. I got to hate my act for a week.
There was a fucking company in Europe that was chipping their employees. And for normal shit, like getting into a door and like buying something in the commissary.
But that European attitude, they're like, oh, it's fine. I just chip in as the door opens and everything.
The door opens, it's no problem.
I go get my little espresso and I come outside. I'm chipped, yeah, don't. It's always that European attitude that makes me feel like, are we as Americans overly paranoid or are we right?
That's why like when that Klaus Schwab guy talks.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. You could have made that name up. That sounds like a made-up name.
Oh, my God. He's the head of the World Economic Forum, and he dresses like a bad guy in a comic book. And I'm not kidding.
If you have that, I'm telling you, if you're that kind of power, do that.
Why not?
Do that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Flex.
I think you should lean into you should start advertising yourself as like a Bond villain. Think about it, dude. You got the compound in Texas. You know karate. You're already a Bond villain, dude. And then you can just sit in a chair and be like, Jamie, pull it up. The world must pay me. Do it, dude. Get into it.
I wish that was a real thing. But this guy is a real thing.
Dude, I can't wait to see this guy.
Check this guy out. And now, let me show you what he looks like, though.
Can you say his name again?
But Klaus Schwab. Now, but let me show you what he looks like with his crazy outfit on.
Damn, dude, he's a basset hound.
Oh, there's a lot of pictures. But Klaus Schwab superhero outfit. Put that on. Just type that in Google.
Klaus Schwab.
Because he looks like a fucking superhero. Like a bad guy. Like a super villain.
Don't you?
Yeah,
oh,
that's it.
dude,
Look
there
at
it
that.
is.
Look
Is that
at
a bolo? Oh,
Look,
no.
what is this? What is that?
Space Federation. You will never have your freedom.
Yeah.
Dude,
we will control your chips.
He looks like he makes pod people.
Imagine walking out of the house with that on going, oh, yeah.
Honey, do you have my weird insulated vest?
What is that?
Where's my brooch? Is that a brooch?
Is that like the Patagonia type material?
I bet if
Look at the fucking thing.
Dude,
Look at the
that's
whole
awesome.
thing.
My
God.
That makes me think he's worn a mask at an orgy.
Oh, for sure.
If you're wearing that in public, you're putting on deer antlers in a robe and fucking someone.
You're going to Bohemian Grove.
yeah. You're
one of those guys.
You're in a marble room fucking a lady that worked at Twin Peaks.
Bro, what is that outfit? Jamie, get that photograph, and we're gonna make a large metal print of it for the studio.
Hell yeah!
I think we need
Klaus
Schwab.
I am Klaus Schwab.
But when you hear him talk about the young global leaders of the World Economic Forum, you're like, oh my God, you're a movie guy. Yeah. You're a character.
You're a living
Bad
villain.
Guy. Yeah.
You're a living villain, and lean into it.
Well, he's a guy that's like...
he should have a henchman.
Supposedly, if you follow the conspiracy theories, he's like orchestrating the Great Reset. He even wrote a book about the Great Reset. And then there's like conspiracy theories. What does the Great Reset mean? You know, is it like they're talking about like some sort of a financial reset? It scares the shit out of me.
Nah, live comic book life. Make it really, make it weird as fuck. I would say if you're gonna do that, like, give the conspiracy people what they want. Just a little bit. Don't actually do the bad shit.
But like have a photo of you with like a goat sacrifice.
Dude, I would pay, if I was Klaus Schwab, I would pay a lot of money to have a lot of money and then dress a person up as an alien and somehow leak a photo of us shaking hands and then just drop it on Google and then watch everyone be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you'd want to drop it through like some German website.
Or a defunct paper.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is weird. I found this old picture of Klaus Schwab in a gray.
That's the problem. It's like, as much as we complain about like the New York Times and the Washington Post, imagine if all of your news just came from websites. Well, look at it the other way. Look at it the other way.
If it was it's all a thing that someone could build in a day.
Yeah.
Like the New York Times, you can hate them what they are, but that is an institution.
Yes.
You know what they have offices.
Yes.
They have a payroll. They have a history.
Yes.
You can just have a website drop a picture of Klaus Schwab in a thong with a gray, and it's going to be like, where did this come from? But then the internet does what the internet does best, and they take something and run with it.
Oh yeah.
And so then it would just be on.
Yeah.
There's going to be conspiracy theories about why Mike Tyson lit that dude up on that plane.
That's
you know what I mean?
real simple. That dude was a douchebag. And he was.
You see the other
he
video?
Was annoying, one of the baddest motherfuckers that's ever walked the face of the earth.
Talk about kicking a beehive. What the fuck are you
That's
doing,
so
dude?
Dumb. That's not even kicking a beehive. It's like smashing. It's headbutting a beehive.
It's like trying to put your dick in a sleeping bear's mouth. Like he just walked up and was like, I'm going to lower my wiener right into the bear's mouth. Mike Tyson, also there's a video that came out of the angle of him talking to someone, and he's like talking shit in a way where you're like, this guy's hammered and doesn't know what's coming. Because I bet in his head he's like, he won't punch me. He can't punch me.
Oh my God.
I bet he's a guy that thinks Mike Tyson's hands are registered lethal weapons. He strikes me as that guy who's like, and he, by the way, I saw the guy's shape and I was like, that guy would kick the shit out of me.
That was a thing that people would always say, right? He had register his hands as deadly weapons.
I think I said it. I've spread that around. I've been putting out that propaganda. Be like, I have to register their hands as lethal weapons. That's my level of dumb. Yeah. Where you tell me that and I'm like, I knew that was true. I wonder if it's a state thing or a federal thing. You start worrying, you're like, is that a county or a federal thing? I don't.
That's one of them old school karate dojo things. That's what that is.
I loved it. I mean, you were doing karate in the 80s. You were actually doing karate. But what's funny about the 80s is people just put on outfits. You've seen that a couple times in your life.
Like kung fu outfits, yeah.
You've seen that a couple times in your life.
Sure.
Because you know what I always think about? Was UFC when dudes would just rock affliction shirts.
Oh, yeah, man.
And I lived in
silver foil writing.
Yeah, I lived in Tucson in the early 2000s. And you just see big dudes in affliction shirts. And here's the thing. I'm not going to test that theory.
There was the style.
Yeah, and they would like super gelled up hair and then just mean mugging everyone. I was rocking liquor t-shirts and shitty dungarees. I was like, I ain't going to see if this guy knows how to fight or not. I don't give a fuck.
Those are the early days. That's when things were wild. Affliction had their own promotion.
Yeah, I remember that. They got Fedor, didn't they? Mm-hmm. I remember that. I worked at K-Rock in New York when Stern left. They like turned it to Free FM and then they brought it back K-Rock with Opie and Anthony. And I was doing like overnights, and I somehow got that affliction fight on the TV in the old O&A studio, and that felt like, I was like, dude, this is better than working. I'm getting paid to watch this Fedor. I mean, it was a quick fight, but.
Yeah, he fought over there a couple times, right? He fought Tim Sylvia.
Yeah.
I think he fought Andrei Arlovsky over there too.
Yeah. He was fun. He was
was that affliction? Were they both affliction?
I don't know. I know the Sylvia fight was affliction.
They spent a lot of fucking money, man. They went crazy. They tried to go crazy. I knew one of the owners. Shout out to Mr. Atencio. He's a cool motherfucker. They're cool people.
I also just had the realization that I'm talking to Joe Rogan about this. Like, we were just having a conversation. I'm like, I'm talking to a guy that actually knows these people. Like, it's like a bar talk where you're like,
yeah, but I do that too.
I know. The Sylvia one was.
Yeah, that's it. Tim Sylvia was a quick one. So they had two events.
2008. Shout out 2008 for me drinking beers in the K-Rock studio.
They might have had more than two events.
Yeah.
But they definitely had those two. Did they have more than two events? Does it say how many events did Affliction MMA have? I think it was just those two.
And that fucked him with
they were high level.
I mean, that must have fucked him with the UFC. Just being like, hey, we're going to do our own fight promotion. And you're like, what's up?
You know, the UFC is like, good luck. That's what Dana.
Good luck.
I mean, Dana's super competitive, obviously, but they were never worried about it. They were trying to get Fedor for a long time, so it was kind of a bummer.
He was one of those guys you want to talk about, like, villainous that they built up online, and they were like, you got these guys fucking this Russian.
Did you ever watch him fight?
Oh yeah, it was great. You just watch him dominate people, and you're like, and I like his face. He looks like he owns a good diner.
Yeah, table for four.
Oh, hello, buddy. He sits down. You bring beautiful wife. You hang out, and then you just watch him take Tim Sylvia, a giant, and just fuck his shit up. And you're like,
shit up. He fucked everybody's shit up.
I like dudes who can fight that look like they're just sweet cherub boys.
Well, Fedor was the ultimate because he was never ripped.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he was in his prime, absolute prime, he always had some body fat on him.
That's why, as a guy that's grown into having a body that's like, I have like 70s WWF body.
Do you know,
even if I'm in shape.
There's something to be said for that, because having a little bit of fat on you doesn't look as good because you're not as shredded, but
you jiggle.
You seem like you have a little bit more endurance.
Really?
I don't know, man.
Is it the fat?
Not too much.
Dude,
like, he was pretty fat.
He's our sloppy king. Fedor's the sloppy king.
Yeah, look at that one picture of him there.
Dude, and he just beat
everybody up.
He had a brother, right? Didn't he
his brother was jacked. His brother was covered in tattoos.
So my question is, do you think Fedor, who's one of the baddest dudes of all time, is mad that his brother's got a better body? Do you think there's that insecurity?
I don't think anything gets him mad. If cage fights don't get him mad, why would anything get him? He never changes his expression. He's never angry. He's never like, when he wins. When he wins, it's just like, yep, another day in office.
The man is hurt. I want to go have bath.
Dude, he pulled off some of the most spectacular submissions and finishes, and he would climb off like he, just left a bathroom.
I would do absolutely, if I got a quick finish in a fight, I would be jumping up on that cage. I'd be doing somersaults. I would just be rolling around that ring, because I can't imagine to be that cool about being that badass is the coolest thing.
I think that's one of the reasons why he's that badass. I think it's his mind.
He just can shut down.
He's like, physically, he's got amazing tools. Like, he fights very well off his back. He fights very well standing up. His tools are amazing, no doubt. But there's nothing about him that's exceptional in terms of like strength or speed, or it's all like really good.
Yeah.
But there's certain guys like Alistair Overeem in his prime that was so fucking strong, so
you
powerful.
Want to talk about superheroes, dude.
Oh my God, he was the superhero.
That guy was built like you could put him in just tight, like with a star on his chest, and be like, it's Justice Man, and it would look real.
When he was the K1 Grand Prix champion, he was like, it didn't make sense that anyone built like that was actually a fighter. He was like a bodybuilder almost.
Which is funny because I grew up on.
Look at the fucking build of that guy.
Great comparison, dude.
He was so jacked.
Dude, look at our sloppy king on the left.
And our sloppy king would be a heavy favorite in an MMA fight between those two back then.
I not only
look at him there. That's when he's fighting Brock Lesnar, bro.
Damn.
I mean, what the fuck?
I would not only would I bet
perfect body.
Not only would I bet money on Fedor. Look at you in the back. You're just looking at him like, Jesus fucking
why not
Christ.
Me?
But Fedor is a guy that I would not only bet money on a fight, but then want food recommendations.
Right. He probably know where the good Russian delis are.
Even the things like, you get the good blints. You're like, oh man. And you're eating it with your friend, and you know Fedor told me about this.
Yeah, that fucking dude eats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He enjoys life.
Yeah.
I hope he wears a lot of clothes with fur on them, because he deserves to.
Do you think he drinks?
Oh yeah, in a cool way.
Must.
In like a nondescript bottle into a glass.
His brother was a fucking beast, man, and his brother drank a lot.
Those Russians and those Eastern Europeans. I'm a Nuggets fan, so we have Nikola Jokic.
Oh, look at him hammered with a bottle of vodka.
Stoli,
Is
dude.
that real? Is that a real photo? That looks a little Photoshop.
That also could just be a fraternity member at like Ohio State. That could be a guy. That could be a Buckeye. Just like, I'm fucking hammered. Or the baddest dude on the planet.
Yeah, either one. Yeah, look at him. Big old sweater.
Dude, the Last Emperor is a cool name too.
And people used to always go online. They would make fun of his sweater of victory because he had all these like really like Charlie Brown looking sweaters. Like he dressed like such a dad.
I fucking love that.
He dressed like such a dad. He was the baddest man in Russia.
Yeah, and then would come and was like. He was like a myth in the United States because they couldn't get him in the UFC. So they were like, dude, this guy in Russia. Yeah. Because, like, you know, my friends, I'm a casual fight fan, but then my friends who were super into it, like Lewis and Dave Smith, were like, dude, Fedor, this guy's fucking crazy. And
he was awesome. But the thing about it is by the time he was coming to, like, Strikeforce, when, like, Fabricio Verdun beat him, like he had already had so many years on the clock.
Yeah.
It's like when I think about Fedor, when I think about fighters, I think about fighters during their peak period of performance. And during Fedor's peak period of performance was the Nogueira fights. It was
and the Nogueira brothers were like, they like flew him to Russia being like, this is the fight of the century, right? Like when they fought.
Well, when Nogueira, I want to say Nogueira lost the title to Fedor. See if that's true. I'm pretty sure he lost the Pride title.
Could he get the belt around his fucking torso? That'd be awesome if you like.
Most of the time they just carry him on their shoulders anyway. But
I know, but I can't snap. My head's too big. I can't wear a snapback.
You can't wear any snapbacks?
No, man. It's on the last one or it pops. I fucking hate it. I like
Velcro better anyway.
Yeah, I do fitted because I have to wear. I wear a size 8. If anyone's wondering, it's a big.
That's a big head, bro. You got a lot of brain in there.
Yeah, I think or water. I'm just thinking it's
maybe
padding.
It's just a thick skull. Maybe
let's see if I can break this table. Just fucking bam.
You ever seen those videos of dudes like smashing bricks with their fucking forehead?
Oh yeah, like, tree punching videos.
Tree punching is one thing. It hurts your hand. It doesn't change the way you think. Imagine being so dumb that you're going to change the way you think on purpose.
I went out to the woods and forgot a couple cousins because I was just smashing my fucking head into a tree.
This is one video of a dude tries and it doesn't work, and then he tries again, and he's basically KO'd and he's wobbling around because he just headbutted some fucking marble.
Is he doing that like, wait, he was doing marble?
It was on some thick-ass stone, whatever the fuck it was.
Any of those break videos, again, growing up on action movies in the 80s and the 90s, anytime they showed the brick breaking scenes, I'd always be like, that's not for me. I get all the training, but that just seems. Did you ever do that in karate? Were you breaking boards?
When we would open up a new school, we would do demonstrations. And one of the things that people wanted to see was people breaking boards.
See?
I broke boards.
Did you?
A lot of boards. But I only broke boards during demonstrations. We never even practiced it.
So you wouldn't just be at home with your friend and you're like, dude, pick that board up and then just jump off the couch and karate kick it?
No, we never practiced breaking boards. We just practiced for tournaments. So like when we were breaking a board, it was just for fun.
You just like, yeah.
You just kick it. You just kick it like they break easy. They break so easy.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of me. I'm trying to kick a board and just missing and be like, fuck.
Yeah,
fuck.
You shouldn't be doing a demonstration.
Yeah. Like, did you guys do it to music? Did you guys like come out?
You're like, the best around.
Oh, that's it.
Nothing's gonna ever
bring that
keep you
80s
down.
cocaine karate energy.
That Brian De Palma energy.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Just coming out just with fritzy music and kicking shit.
Fucking Star Spangled Banner shorts on.
Yeah, people like me should not. I shouldn't take karate because you're seeing I idolize all the wrong things. Or I'm like, I'll just be showing off for my friends.
But those things, that's like what gets people into real martial arts. The best part about like those, even the Karate Kid. Like, do you know how many people enrolled in karate schools after the Karate Kid? Holy shit, it must have been nuts.
I mean, the money they were making. That's why I loved Fist Foot Way with Danny McBride. Because you were like, that's probably the most realistic description of a guy who's like, fuck it, I'll make money.
Do you know about McDojo Life?
No.
Okay. McDojo Life is an account on Instagram.
Okay.
It's fucking amazing. It's all fake karate guys and fake kung fu guys and fake martial, like death touch guys. And they all like fall down. Like a guy comes at him with a knife and he's like, ah.
Or they do that thing where they just like do a quick toss and then they're done and it's clearly not a move.
He had one he put up today that showed a Qigong specialist. Qigongs are like energy people and they're making dudes come. Look. Look at this.
Who comes like that?
Waving I do.
Yeah.
That's the
you go
only
side
way.
to side.
I have to go like this.
I got a fish swim, dude.
It's got music attached to it, but
So is this technically a rub and tug?
it's a hover and tug.
It's like, yeah, he's like, he can't get popped. The cops come in and they're like, dude, I came, but he didn't touch me.
He just did the hover nut.
Yeah, it's like just pulling a nut out of you like a snake charmer.
So this guy has all of the. Don't go to the one in the middle. This one does it with his hair. Watch this. Just uses his hair.
That's great. That's great. There was a
That's not a parody.
There was a indie wrestler that did that with his dick.
Oh my
Pro
God.
wrestler, where his finishing move was someone would grab his junk and then he would flip him, and he would like get him like that was the whole point of his. Fuck, I'm trying to remember what this guy's name. Johnny something. He was yeah. But that's I always love watching the videos. You used to post a lot of them.
She did it to Ken Shamrock here.
Oh
Joey
no
Ryan.
way! Did he really?
Oh yeah, Joey Ryan. That's who it is. Yeah.
So this is Ken Shamrock grabbing this guy's dick.
It's Joey.
And he
It's
like
Impact
holds him
Wrestling.
there. Come on, imagine you have to practice this.
Yeah, you're like, all right, dude, just do the move. Also, he's holding
Oh my
it.
God.
He's holding it longer for the move.
Well, it's
and
like
if-
he's got a magnet on his dick. That's
yeah, but then if you're Shamrock, you're like, all right, buddy, you're taking like
Right.
3 more seconds than I need.
he just wants a lot of photo ops,
Yeah,
and then they do this.
but the videos that you used to post of guys that are like fake karate.
That's from this guy.
Oh, and then fighting.
Yeah.
And then I read that story about in China where that MMA fighter came here and trained.
Yeah.
And then went over there and fought like.
Oh, yeah,
a Chinese.
yeah.
I don't forget what the guy's name is, but
Yeah,
he fought him.
He was shunned by the country.
Yeah, he like fucked the dude up, and the country
Yeah.
was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
it's like, that's kind of our."
Yeah, China does not like any disparagement of like their traditional martial arts or that kind of thing. They did not like that. They do like their martial arts fighter. Like there's
Yeah.
a woman named Zhang Weili. She's
Yeah,
like she's former champion, one of the top women, 150.
One of the greatest fights
fighters.
I've ever seen in my life.
Her and Joanna.
Oh my god!
Oh my God, it was insane.
Oh my god! First off, when you see Joanna's face after the fight, you're like, "That's Photoshop."
There's a football in her head. Her head was like a football was glued onto her head.
Remember Oddities on MTV where the guy would crawl out of the brain? That's what it looked like. That giant head. And
Imagine if that lanced in the fight. Imagine if Weili landed like an elbow.
yeah, you would have been in the splash zone.
Oh my
It
God.
would have been like a Gallagher show.
It would have just dumped out of her head.
because the way it formed up.
So much fluid in there. It was crazy. Bro, that's all blood. She had like a quart. Like, it was like realistically.
Yeah.
Remember when you went to high school, you had those little milks?
Yeah,
What were those?
yeah, the little boxes.
Little half pint of milk?
Oh, I love that.
That was a half a pint of fluid in her fucking head.
So she could have gone
Right?
like. Do you think if she would have walked up after the fight, like, "Hey, good fight," like
Dr.
that?
Pimple Popper.
Yeah, just pimple poppered it all over you and her as you're interviewing her. She's, oh my
Look at that.
God.
Bro, it's bigger than I remember.
It
Oh my
looks
God,
like-
it's huge.
It looks like the Black Hole Sun video. It looks like Soundgarden's Black Hole
Yeah.
Sun when they make their eyes all
Dude,
fucked.
that's crazy.
That is nuts, dude.
I forgot how big it was.
It's insane.
That's-
that was right after the fight.
That's
it's
so
not like it's
crazy.
the next day and it's had time. That's like, yeah,
That's
dude.
so crazy. You know, it makes me think about like early man. You know, when you look at those when they find those skeletons of early man, the
Yeah.
forehead was always so much bigger. I wonder if they just were getting hit a lot.
By
Has to
everything.
be it, right?
Yeah, there weren't roads. They just walked through branches,
Right.
just taking shots from trees.
And enough like fights and stuff that would happen on a normal basis where your head would swell up like Joanna's.
But you also have to realize that we weren't as smart back then. So, like, let's say you're a guy and you take a fall and you get a Joanna lump like that, and you go back to your tribe, and they're like, "You have the devil in your head." Like they're like, "You're evil. You have something going on," because they don't understand what the
Right.
fuck that it's blood. Like we know that. You can immediately be like,
Right, they might be thinking that you're like becoming a thing, like
or maybe a god.
parasite. Oh,
if you're smart, you go into it. If you're smart, you come back with enough brain damage to be like, "Bow before me. I can think more than anyone."
One thing I absolutely believe happened is people who had mushrooms, who figured out mushrooms before everybody else, they're the ones who started the cults.
It's like, dude, Vikings.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
used,
yeah.
They used to go rage.
Yeah.
When you go to, I went to Sweden. It was like one of the first vacations I took, and I was like, I want to go see Queens of the Stone Age in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
It's fucking rad, dude. It
That's
was
awesome.
It was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
I
It
had
was,
Josh on once.
I know, dude. He's one of my favorites, and I got to see him at this outdoor amusement, because it's like light there late, so the whole concert was light. But I went to the Viking Museum, and they were like, there's a part where they're like, "They ate these mushrooms." They like they try to do it quick, and you're like, dude, that's fucking. And then you look it up, and they would rage.
And that's weird that that's a tiny part of the story. That's a big part of the story.
Yeah, dude, it's the motivation.
Well, they were in a zone They were literally tripping balls, hacking people to death.
Dude, if it didn't work, and you're just like looking around, and you're like, guys, I'm not feeling it, and they're just burning huts and shit.
But there was a study done. There was a guy I think he was a psychologist, did a study on mushrooms, and he found that it measurably increased visual acuity. So what his study was, the way the study worked is they have like two parallel lines, and then they move one line slightly off parallel, and the people on mushrooms could detect that quicker than the people who are sober.
Yeah, because your eyes are fucking.
Wow.
Yeah, you're out. When I was 16, my buddy Brian, he's like easily the smartest kid I know, grew up with, and loved the most drugs, and got mushrooms, and we took mushrooms. And then we were in the Good Times parking lot, Good Times Burger
How old
parking
were you?
lot, 16. And I'm sitting there and I eat it with Brian. And he was so smart that he explained to me what was going to happen as it was happening. So he goes, all right, you've eaten the mushrooms. The psilocybin's going to go into your stomach lining. And then it's going to open your retina. They're going to let more light in. So you're going to have a problem with shadows and distance. And I was like, I remember smoking a cigarette in the parking lot being like, oh, fuck. And just seeing it be like, whoa. Because you just notice shit.
Right.
Because your eyes are just like, huh. And then he's like, my favorite part is like, you're going to think you know everything. And then it was like, almost immediately, I'm like, you know what? I think I don't do well in school. I like was self-diagnosing myself. I got ADHD, I think. I don't know. I'm on a lot of psilocybin. But yeah. And then as it came down, it was crazy. It was like the best experience to do a drug for the first time.
Now imagine if you knew about that, but all the rest of your village didn't, and you knew where the mushrooms were, and you had taken them a couple of times, and you said, you know what, these motherfuckers need to be under my thumb. They need to be under my rule.
Let's make some stew.
Well,
and then
just tell them what to do, and tell them you're in touch with God, and you're going to give them a little piece of God, and they're like, oh my God, how do you know this? Like,
and if someone's
God speaks to me.
It's the confidence.
Yeah.
They've done it. They've been there.
And they probably might believe it.
Yeah, it's
right?
That's what I always felt about like whenever I've been nervous about something in comedy. You always talk to someone older, and they're over it.
Like what kind of stages?
Like when I started, I went on the road with Bobby Kelly, who's one of the best. He's like my older brother.
I love Bobby.
Bobby is one of the funniest human beings, and I can call him and just laugh like anytime I want. But I open for him. And Bobby's Bobby, you know, Boston, tough and shit. And he's like, you love featuring, dude? You featuring? You having fun, huh? Doing your best jokes in the middle of the show? Call me when you're a headliner. Have the fun with that, you know? And then I was headlining, and I was in Kansas City, and I was just bombing. And I was doing like Wednesday through Sunday. It's one of those long weeks. You know, it might have been a Tuesday through Sunday. And it's just like a Thursday, and I'm walking through a hot Target parking lot, and I call Bobby, and I'm like, I'm fucking bombing, dude. This sucks. And I'm intimidated. And he's like, yeah, you want to be a headliner, huh? Well, now you're a headliner and this is what happens. And then he told me, he's like, it's not a big deal. It's not going to be shit in 2 years. So just walk through it. And then that confidence of him being like over it and being like, yeah, dude, whatever. You're working a week. You're going to do this a lot the rest of your life. You're like, oh, fuck, all right. It was a small comfort.
You need those sets.
Yeah.
They're important. Those sets that suck.
The humbling ones.
They teach you things.
The great humblers. When you just come through and just get ear hold. It's
I have some from the 90s I still think about.
I have an open mic. I swear to God, Joe, I have an open mic in Tucson, Arizona at Laughs Comedy Club. I was telling my friend Jesse Campbell about this the other month when I was in Minnesota. I remember everything about the bomb. It was a 3-minute open mic set, and I lasted a minute 16. I couldn't even fill my time. And it was all premises. I was just going up there being like, you guys, you ever go on a date? So my TV's busted, and it's just like I was just.
How many times had you done an open mic before that?
Oh, months. Like I was an open micer, but I was making. Here's the thing. This is why it fucked me up. I was making progress. I was like getting jokes together,
and then you hit a wall,
and then just got fucking ear hold. And then you bomb, and then it's that thing where you have to go sit with it and just be like, what am I actually doing with my life? And you can still smoke inside then, which was cool.
I remember those.
Just those bombs?
Yeah, the bombs where you're like, I think I should quit.
Yeah, I had one. I told this on the Bonfire with Jay. We were at, it's like they were at Stand Up New York playing as Comedy Central Presents. It's like 2007 or 8 when Jay got one. And I was like an open micer, you know, running around. And I did a check spot in front of Patrice and Jay and bombed so hard that I walked out of the club, called the girl I was dating, and was like, I think I gotta quit. I don't know. I don't think this is going.
You did a check spot, meaning there's a spot where they drop the checks in the middle.
So
only one spot they do that?
So in New York, they do a showcase club, just like store or whatever. But what they do is they do 5 comics and then a check spot where everyone pays their bills at the same time.
Oh my God.
And so that's how I got in New York, I was like, no one's coming for this.
Isn't that funny that we just assume people can't keep it together when they're paying the bill?
And they can't, but
they
then
start
you
talking.
learn. You lose the room.
How much did it give? How much is it? It's fucking $9 for a fucking.
And they're like, "What is it? 28 divided by 6?"
Yeah. What is it? Is it 15%?
Yeah. I mean, I still do. I still get checks dropped on me in clubs, and but that's also what we're talking about, like how bombs are good for you.
Yeah.
When I was doing a check spot, I learned how to win the room. I learned how to I can get them. Also, you also learn like a little bit phonies and psychos. You learn how to be like politic and be like, all right, how can I get the least amount of brutal time? Like, how can you?
Right.
Because I don't want to. I mean, dude, you would go up there and be talking to a room that's not paying attention.
Yeah.
It butt fucks your ego. You
Well,
get off stage and
it's
like,
crazy that they do that for one spot. They
Yeah.
have like one spot that's designated that way. That's not.
Is
that the right way to do it?
I don't know,
Why can't
but
people just have their fucking shit together?
well, most clubs now, like the seller does it after the show. You do the show and then you pay.
Oh, that's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, but that was also, I could complain about it, but that's how I got my in New York. I was just a glutton for punishment.
Right, you just took those check spots.
And this great comic, Mike Britt, who I love to death, I'll never forget, was like, anytime I'm hosting at Stand Up New York, you can do the check spots.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, for me, I was like, dude, this is, look at that on
you
Friday.
gotta take it. You gotta take it.
And then you would bomb and you would watch everyone walk out. And they would just be like, to other comics, like, you're so good. And they see you, they're like, hey.
Did you ever have a good one? Did you figure out?
Yeah, I started getting good at it.
Was there like a skill or
by watching guys like Patrice and Big Jay, I was able to be like, oh, engage with someone and then it spreads. Because people are naturally curious. So if you're talking and people are laughing, they're like, you pay, what's going on? And then you get you learn how to like get the room to listen to you. So it got by the end where it was like, where I started doing real spots. That was funny. I'd go do a bar show where everyone's listening and I'm like, oh shit, everyone's paying attention to me. Everyone's like there to listen to jokes. So it was a very valuable, but for 2 years, man, just like, I'll be at Stand Up New York on Friday night, just fucking bombing. Bombing, dude. It's just, and then like watching a guy, one time there was this, dude, I'll never forget, there was this guy, the way Stand Up New York was, it was like long tables. So everyone's like but they turn to watch you. This dude's just looking forward and I'm bombing. And I'm just like, this fucking guy can't even look at me. And then I see him just do this. And I'm like, he's blind. He's fucking blind.
No.
I thought he was just not listening to me, and instead he was like, what's up? And you're like, oh shit. And now I'm bombing like it's like a Inception bomb.
Right,
now it's a
you're
bomb.
mean.
Yeah, and now he can like smell me being like, it fucking sucked.
Oh my God.
But you had all those coming up.
100%.
Would you just get fucking crushed?
I did bachelor parties with no microphone.
How?
Exactly.
How the bachelor parties? They don't want to see you.
They don't want to see me.
They want to see women.
Yeah, this is a poor choice. You're making one of many poor choices.
Dude, whenever there's a bachelor party at a comedy club, you're like, guys, who chose wrong?
Yeah, this is well, bachelor party at a comedy club is fine.
But it can
That's
also
fine. But a bachelor party where a dude with no microphone is telling jokes and he's been telling jokes for exactly 14 months.
Dude, it's like, when you describe injuries and your injuries start hurting, I'm like, oh, I'm like, my breath's getting shallow. I'm like, because how do you start that show?
It's
do you just
hard.
do you clap a lot? Are you like,
Well, it was, I was young and dumb.
Like, what?
At the time, I was like 22. You just did it.
Yeah.
I just did it. I was like, let me just do it. Here we
Yeah.
go. Hey, guys, we're doing a show. Thank you very much. Thanks for hiring me for your show. Good luck with the wedding. You're going to fucking need it.
Everyone's just
And then
talking.
everybody laughs and, you go into some jokes. I'd have to have some joke about marriage or something.
yeah, something to get them all.
Something relatable.
Traffic sucks. And they're like, it does suck. I like this
Suck
guy.
getting here.
Yeah, I started in Tucson, and there was casinos around. And the Desert Diamond Casino would do this show on Monday nights where they pay $100 to open for whoever the headliner was the weekend before would stay around, and it was like a good money gig for them. And the club asked me, they were like, do you want to open Monday at the Desert Diamond Casino for Ben Creed? And I was like, fuck yes, I do. And they're like, can you do 30 minutes? Yeah, I had 6, maybe 6. They send me out. It's a Monday night football. I remember the game. It was the Steelers-Chargers. Bar is packed with Charger fans because Tucson, San Diego, it's not that far from each other. End of the Monday Night Football game, the Chargers miss a field goal and lose to the Steelers in a casino where there's probably, I don't know if there's betting going on, probably. The bartender goes around and turns off all of the TVs and just puts the mic on the stand. He goes, there you go. And I had to go out there and be like, hey, what's up with missing field goals? Like I had nothing. And I bombed for 30 minutes, but I did my time because that was like, I was like, I got to do the 30 or they're not going to give me my 100. I was up on this large stage and then I announced Ben Creed and he just walks to the foot of the stage and he's like, give me the microphone. He's like, I'm not getting up on that stage, and just starts murdering standing in front of him. And I was like, dude, that walk off the tall stage, I was like, damn, dude, I bombed and I look like an idiot. And then I just went and got drunk on the $100 they gave me. I was like, this fucking sucks.
I did this bar gig in Boston, and the first time we did it, they left the television on and the hockey game was on. So no one was paying attention to the comedy show.
Yeah.
And, so we came back and the booker was like, how was the gig? And I said, well, it's good except they keep a hockey game on while you're doing stand-up and no one's paying attention. And they're all talking and cheering when the game. So it's like you're doing stand-up for the few people that are paying attention.
Yeah.
And they said, well, that's not good. We're going to have them take the TV and shut it off next time we have a comedy show. So the next time we have a comedy show there, they shut the TV off in the middle of the fucking game.
Yeah.
And say we're going to have a live comedy show, which was way worse. Because now people are mad at you.
And they're not there. If they are there for comedy, they're embarrassed that the people are angry that they're there for comedy. You know what I mean? They're like, what the fuck's going on?
It was just blind Boston hockey fan rage. Like, what the fuck? Fucking jokes.
The New England area, be very careful what sports overlap with your comedy shows. Because I was doing Comedy Connection. It was the Patriots and the Ravens on a Saturday night NFL playoff game. And they're like, hey, so, there's like 5 minutes left in the game. We'll just start the show in like 10 minutes. I was like, I will do less time.
Yeah.
We're going to show the end of that game.
Yeah.
Because I'm not having you pull that screen up and have me be like,
yeah,
what's going on in the world? And they're like, I wanted to watch Tom Brady beat the Ravens. Thank God the Patriots won and the show was great. And I did like 30 minutes.
Isn't it crazy though? If the Patriots lost, the show might have been shittier.
Dude.
It's a real possibility.
It genuinely affects how people feel. My favorite story of sports affecting it is I used to open for Nate Bargatze. He's one of my best friends.
Love that dude.
He's one of the funniest human beings. He's one of the best comics working.
Yeah, he's great.
But we do shit gigs together. It's like when your buddy first starts headlining and they're like, dude, fucking come open for me. And you're like, absolutely. This is great. You feel like you're stealing money.
Right.
You're like, dude, I'll come open for you. This is going to be great. We did this place in Erie, Pennsylvania called Junior's Last Laugh. And it's a big room. It's a real big room. And the owner's like, Saturday's sold out. It's a Christmas party. This was in January. He's like, it's a Christmas party. 550 people, Saturday. And the rest of the shows are sparse. So we're like, this is going to be the big show. It's like working up all weekend. Nate and I go to Buffalo Wild Wings on that Saturday. No, I'm good. I might do more of that joint. You rip a cigar, I'll rip a joint. I'm a former cigarette smoker. Cigars make me just want to be like,
it's too close.
Give me a pack of Camel Lights. What are we doing?
It's too close.
Stop dry humping me. I want to smoke a fucking cigarette. Right. So we're at the Saturday comes and we're at Buffalo Wild Wings, and Nate and I are watching football, and I'm like, hey, who's the afternoon game? And he's like, Steelers Ravens, one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL, and we're in Steeler country. Erie, Pennsylvania is like Steeler country. Dude, we show up to that show, 500 people. They said 400 are in the bar watching the Steeler game. 100 are in this giant room waiting for comedy.
Oh my God!
Everyone's waiting is watching the Steeler game. It's going on.
How much time is the game? How much more time?
It's the first quarter.
Oh,
it's
God.
like
It's
the
not gonna
game
happen.
aligns with the show.
Oh, no.
And I'm featuring, I get so fucking lucky that my set lines up with halftime. It's halftime. I go up. A lot of them go in the room. They're not that great of a crowd. I finish. Nate goes on. He maybe has 5 minutes with him in the room. Second half starts. They flood out. I'm in the room watching Nate because I'm like, dude, this is a memorable show. There's no way I'm never going to forget this show. And Nate is just, he's got his same tone, and he's just, some of the best jokes, and he's just fucking saying them. And then he would say a joke, the people in the room would laugh, and then you'd hear, bah, like out at the bar. Like, bah, and it would just fucking cut through the wall.
So they were laughing or they were cheering?
Cheering.
Okay,
like fucking going, because the Steelers won.
Right.
And they're like, ah! And then Nate's like, my wife, I come home late doing comedy, and then you hear like, ah! It's just like tearing through. And I'm sitting there drinking a beer being like, dude, I got to watch this because this is a memorable, Nate's getting fucked right now by the Steelers. It was great. It was a very fun thing. And now you watch them, do theaters and shit. Like,
but it's interesting that all those people had paid for tickets, but the game was so important to them that they wanted to watch it right there and then.
They'd rather waste money and stand shoulder to shoulder in a tight bar watching a fucking tiny TV.
Yeah.
That's why I always think comedy, it's always, you got to be humble. You just got to be like, dude, we ain't shit.
For sure.
This is like, if a fucking NFL game can make people waste money, to be like, I don't give a shit about this clown.
Not just that, though, but like live sporting events are really becoming like the best option for TV.
Yeah.
It's because it's the only thing that you have to watch when it's happening. Everything else is streaming now.
Everything's streaming.
Yeah.
Spoilers, people take them better now, but sports is like, you can also watch it on your phone. You can just be active in it in a way where you're like, you can watch it. I would say the NFL is like, probably a bigger religion than some religions in this country. Like, because I know I do. I love the 49ers, and I like put it in my calendar to be like, all right, the 49ers are playing Sunday. I got to be home by this time to watch them play the fucking Cardinals.
You played college ball, didn't you?
No, I sucked at football, dude.
You sucked at football?
I sucked at athletics. You know what I learned? I learned that's when I was funny. I was like,
did you play high school?
Yeah, I played high school football, and I could run into people fast with my big head. That was it. I didn't know fucking schemes. I didn't know anything. I was just like, my friends played football. I loved football. I wanted to be good at it. One in the cards, dude.
Did you ever see the origins of football?
No.
They invented it to get people's mind off of war. They gave people like a
Makes
distraction.
Sense. They're like, hey, let's do tiny trench wars. And then now it crowns people, 100 millionaires.
With leather helmets on back then, too. That shit was wild.
I think there's part of me that thinks like the more and more the CTE conversation gets brought up and they talk about helmets and stuff.
Yeah.
Why don't we go back to take off the face mask? I wonder if dudes would run into each other as
They
fast.
will definitely, some dudes will. The problem is...
yeah, the psychos are like,
psychos
I'm
are
already
gonna keep
numbed
doing
up.
it.
I'll run into you full face.
Not only that, but
look at that. That looks like a swim team now.
Look how small they were.
Dude, I bet those guys could, you know what I mean? I bet they were smaller.
Savage.
I bet like
They're
now,
wiry.
But then I bet they could grab you with that dad strength and you'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah, people were different.
Look at that guy laying on the bottom. That guy laying on the bottom right there would probably run through me like a piece of paper. The guy that's doing this Playgirl spread.
That looks like the front cover of the best gay porn ever.
Yeah.
Right?
They're like, it's the Running Twinks from 1882. They just could fucking run right through me.
This is a college game? Penn State? Was Penn State in 1901?
Wow. Penn.
Just Penn.
Damn, dude. Rocking the stripes, looking like the Hamburglar.
So did they play with no helmets back then at all? Oh, look at the top hat.
Look at that, dude. If your coach had to wear a top hat like that.
Wouldn't you love to go back in time and just watch a practice?
Yeah.
Watch him talk. And
do you think they had helmets for anything back there besides war? Like, there wasn't a bicycle helmet?
Oh, what? Oh, my God. Bicycle helmets didn't even drop to the 70s, I think.
There wasn't even safe.
I never had a bicycle helmet.
Yeah, those guys were probably like, why, you can't restrict your brain or else you go crazy. Put anything on your head, you go nuts. They don't have, like, science. It's like...
As soon as they gave people bicycle helmets, they started doing flips.
For real. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like with the face masks, you take a face mask off. I don't know if a dude's going to throw his body the way he is.
Well,
but
you know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like legalizing drugs. There's going to be a break-in period.
Yeah.
Where things are going to get fucked. There's going to be like a period of transition.
Which is what a fun period to watch.
Fun. But with football, that could be a real issue, like that period of transition where people go from playing football with pads to playing football with no pads, because that's what they should be doing. Anything you could do when you're wearing armor, come on.
It gives you like, I think that's why people talk shit online so well, because it's like you got a mask, you got an armor on, you got a distance.
Of course.
You can just fucking talk that shit.
Definitely.
So you can let stuff out. So you're right. It's like you take the armor off.
Yeah.
What's football?
It's a weird game.
Well, Australians do it.
Yeah, I'm not disparaging football. It's a dope game.
Oh,
it's weird.
It's my favorite.
It's weird in that they're armored. Like if you look at like the way rugby guys play.
It feels cool. I'm not gonna lie. Part of the fun,
armor, fuck yeah.
It was like,
of course.
Dude, I sucked at it. So knowing that I'm gonna go get laid out, I was still like putting on my pads, like this is fucking cool, and then just getting. Dude, I used to practice when I was in high school and I was on JV, and you'd have to go against varsity, and a guy would just grab you and just be like, "You're gonna go in the dirt now." I just put you in the dirt and just hold you there, and you're like, it fucking sucks. Like what's funny is Shane was awesome at football. Yeah. And then he showed me a picture, and I saw him in his pads, and I was like, you would have kicked the shit out of me every day in practice. He's got helmet face.
Yes.
Like his face fits perfectly in a helmet.
It formed that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My face is so far back, but yet I have a bigger head.
Shane's got a trainer now.
I know.
He's working out.
He was puffing up on me.
Yeah, he showed me his guns. I was like, dude, those are big.
This is my impression of Shane flexing.
That's it. That's pretty good.
He goes,
face.
He goes, touch me, dude.
The face, the mouth. That's pretty good.
I do a good Shane face. But yeah, dude, we were in Nashville together, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, no, he's getting buff.
I got so soft during COVID. I just ate and sat around, and then everyone came back out, and I was like, I'm all mushy.
It's hard if you live in an apartment, man. If there's lockdowns everywhere, and you live in an apartment, and you got no. What are you going to do? You're going to work out in your kitchen?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like
a lot of people did.
Also, my poor girlfriend has to hear me breathing, doing push-ups. Like, have you ever wanted to let it go? Have you ever wanted to just be like fuck sober October? Do like a lazy January where you just don't work out.
I'll just get depressed. It's not good.
Okay.
That's not smart. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, that won't feel good. Like, I don't mind working out.
Is that just me being lazy and be like, get down in the mud, Joe?
I don't mind effort. It's like, it's so normal to me. Like today, I did not want to work out today. Yeah. But I knew that that's just this thing that you have to go through in the early part of the workout to you start breaking a sweat. Yeah. So I just trudged through the first couple of minutes like I always do. Yeah. But that voice is always there.
Man, that voice is...
fuck it voice.
My voice is so good at getting me to say fuck it. My voice is like, dude, take a nap.
It's a good salesman.
I'm like, yeah, you're right, dude. Take a nap. Yeah. Naps rule.
It's not good. You don't have to. It's
also your body's used to it. Your body's used to those endorphins and shit.
It's used to it, and my mind is used to it, maybe even more than my body. That's the most important thing. Yeah. When I have a good cardio workout, especially... nothing fucking bothers me, man.
Really?
Nothing. I'm cool. But no matter what, I'm like, we're good.
That's a good pitch for working out.
There's something to it, man, because you got to. I don't think it just comes from straight exercise. I think it comes from exhaustion, actual exhaustion, and then recovery from that exhaustion. There's like a level of peace and clarity. Yeah. That I only achieve through these brutal workouts. And so I'm not missing that. Because if that was a pill, if my psychiatrist got me on that pill, I'd be like, dude, thank you. This is the shit. This is the one.
Really?
Oh my God, it's the one. All my problems, my anxiety, it's all out the window now. And I'm more loving, I'm more friendly, I'm more forgiving, I have more clarity.
Do you take days off?
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah, I'll take a day off. I'm not scared to I have to work out every day. It's just I know I should work out every day.
Because I take a day off, and then I'm like, what about 2 days off? And then I'm like, what about 3 days off?
Well, sometimes I've gone too far, and I overtrained. Like, I'm too exhausted. I'm like, I went a little nutty. And then the next day, I'll take 2 days off. I'll take a couple days off, and then I'll come back.
Do you love those days? Because you're just like...
Sometimes. I love days off if I earned it.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm just taking a day off, and say, like, if we don't have any podcasts, and I didn't do anything that day, I didn't work out, I didn't write, I didn't do shit, I just laid around the house, that's not fun.
Oh, is it though?
It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it.
To compare my laziness with yours, I'm like, I don't know, Joe. I would go as far as to say it is very enjoyable to just lay around. But that's kind of what I did during the pandemic, and then trying to get back, like getting back on the road full time was like a thing where I was like, oh shit, that was in a way like I was in shape, and now I'm out of shape. I was like super. I would come home on Sunday and be fucking exhausted, just being like, I did 5 shows and now it's back to being nothing. But then it was like, mentally, I didn't realize going to the airport, traveling, going to the hotel, preparing the sets, writing jokes during the day.
You feel so relaxed.
I missed it. I missed, like, it's great to be back on the road now, and it's great to like go back out and just do stand up and you know, have fun and have every show be fun.
Well, you realize what you almost got taken away forever,
dude.
It's the most amazing job.
I was laughing about it. It became funny at one point because like my end of 2019, probably the best run I've ever had in my life, to the point where I was like,
so you were right there.
I was having so much fun. I was having so much fun. My girlfriend and I met, started dating. That was awesome. The 49ers were in the playoffs. My buddy from middle school was coaching them. You know, I was having so much fun. I put out an HBO special that I was proud of. I was adding shows. Everyone's like, you got to add shows. I'm 50% Dan, baby. I'm apologizing to waitresses. I'm saying I'm sorry you can't make rent month this month. And so they're like, we got to add an early show on Thursday. I'm like, this is fucking, what is this? But I didn't have a good act because I turned my special around too quick. And I was like, didn't have an act that I was like proud of, jokes I liked.
Yeah.
And then fucking, dude, COVID was like, sit down, bitch. And I was like, all right. And then just stopped doing stand-up. But that was, I think that's like the lesson I learned from COVID was it slowed me down and I got to retool and be, I don't know, kind of recalibrate in a way now that I'm having a lot more fun.
That's great. It's like you need a reassessment sometimes because a lot of times we operate on momentum.
Yeah.
Right? You're just going and going and going, but you're not thinking about like, is this, what am I doing?
Yeah, you're not taking the steps to be like, is this good? I also think in like our modern culture, it's so pushed undefeated. All I do is win. It's like, motherfucker, you're boring if you just win. Yeah. The best is learning from a loss. And I think that's why, like sports, I think it's important if you're good and shitty. Because I was shitty at it, but dude,
you got a lot out of it.
I learned a lot about humility. Yeah. I learned a lot about you ain't shit. Dude, I lost a Pop Warner football game 116-0.
Whoa.
That, when you're a kid, when you're 11 and you're like losing like 84-0, you're like, hey guys, I got the lesson. Can we stop? And then like that drive home with my mom where she's like, whoo, y'all took a beating. Like she can't even hide it. She can't even hide it. She's like, shit, man, you got the fucking dick knocked off you.
You got to experience loss.
Yeah, and I think that's always like people that are afraid of it push the other agenda. Where they're like, all I do is win. You're weak if you lose. And you're like, I think you're afraid to lose.
You can't be afraid to lose.
Yeah.
You can't. It means you're trying to grow and you're trying to step up to another level. You're trying to figure things out.
It's a risk.
You're trying to do something you're not perfect at yet. You're trying to get better.
Yeah, I used to be so ashamed. Like, you want to talk about working out? I used to be like when I was in my 20s and I'd go to the gym and I'd be doing just dumbbell press and be like that. But I'm at a Gold's Gym in Tucson at like fucking 2 p.m. No one's there. But the guys that are there that are big and working out, I'm immediately like, dude, I look like such an asshole. And it would deter me from coming back because I'd be like, I look dumb. But then the older you get, you're like, you look dumb for a little bit. And then you get better at it. And you get better. It's like check spots.
Yeah.
It was like I looked like an asshole in front of Patrice and Big Jay on that premiere. But then you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
I think the problem with a lot of people also is that they have one thing. So if you have one thing that you're learning and you're trying to get good at and you suck, that means you suck. Right? But if you have another thing that you do that you're good.
If you're putting all of it into that.
Like say if you're trying to do stand-up, but you're also a professional chess player. You're like a really good chess player. So you know how to get really good at something.
Yeah.
And so stand-up, you suck. But you're like, but it's a process because I'm fucking good at this chess thing. And I think I'm going to be good at stand-up too. It's complicated and it's difficult, but I'm going to figure it out. But if you've never done anything before, that's the early days of stand-up are the most dangerous times for a depressed person's life because the reason why you're getting into stand-up in the first place is
Validation.
Yeah, most likely mommy and daddy weren't fucking hanging around so often.
If you're good.
If you're good. And so these kids are already, or these people are already kind of fucked, and then the thing they're trying to do is just crushing their self-esteem, like you've never felt before. I always say that bombing is like sucking 1,000 dicks in front of your mother.
Yeah.
But the problem is, there's a guy out there that would like sucking 1,000 dicks in front of his mom. It's like, this is what I do, mom.
Mommy.
You don't love me. Number 99.
Look at
mommy.
your baby just sucking them down.
Yeah.
It is. You would see. What was funny about doing stand-up in New York in the open mic scene is I started in Tucson, where they kind of aided the open mic. They would put it in front of a real show, so you get crowds.
Yeah.
And then you go to New York and you're like, this is the barren wasteland. You're seeing mentally ill people. Like Tim Dillon is the best example. Tim Dillon's from Long Island or whatever. He could have started in that Long Island scene and stayed out there and been Tim Dillon. But he showed up and was like, I got to get out of there. They're worse than the people here. And you just saw him. And you would see people that you're like, this guy's really funny. He'll be all right. And you kind of got to grab each other in that moment and be like,
yeah,
we're going to get through this storm.
Yes.
Everybody's going to be all right. Like that was like what it
we
was.
have potatoes in the basement.
Yeah, that was like me, List, Nate, Norman, when we were coming up in New York. We're like, guys, this is fucking awful, but we're doing it. And booze helps.
Yeah.
Booze helps when you're
Yeah.
like, let's go get beers and laugh about this shit and be dumb, you know?
Yeah.
And it really, because you're right. Because if you don't have that and you're like, you bomb.
Well, you guys have a good camaraderie in New York now. There wasn't a good camaraderie in New York in the 90s.
Oh, man.
Everybody had the TV mentality. Everybody's trying to get TV shows, and if you and I were auditioning for the same television show, we'd fucking both hate each other.
Crazy.
It's like, oh, Dan Soder got that fucking part.
Yeah, that guy's playing
shit.
fucking goofy
Fuck
neighbor.
Him. Fuck you.
Did
I'm
you
the
guys ever
goofy
do it
neighbor.
with like? Did you guys ever do it with like catchphrase commercials? He's like, he's the fucking come and see me guy now. Fuck him, that fucking prick. Guy's not even funny.
That was the thing in the 90s, and the guys that are coming up today, they don't have that attitude anymore. Everybody does everybody's podcast, so it's
like, hey,
way
man.
healthier.
Hey, check this guy out.
Yeah.
I really care about him. Well, that's what's interesting. I love talking to like guys that have been around because history repeats itself. And you've been in comedy where you've watched the crash. The 90s, guys, people don't realize about the mid-90s, early 2000 comics. You guys were doing it for nobody. No one gave a fuck about comedy.
They did in certain places.
But you look at the store, you look at the cellar. Louis put up this old video of him at the cellar from like 2001. There's no one there. There's like 15 people, and they're just running a show all night, being like, whoever comes in, they stay until they want to leave. We put up as many comics as we can. And now they're like, good luck getting a reservation 2 weeks before. It's like a hot ticket. So I try to tell my friends, I'm like, guys, just be aware that might be coming back. We might have reached a point in comedy. And I think.
No.
You don't think don't think that? You
Not
think
even
it's
close.
Really?
The opposite. It's the opposite.
You think it's still going up?
It's the most fun thing to go see.
It is very fun.
And
to
it's
go see.
live. It's one of the rare live things.
But you don't think podcasting, specifically podcasting, started showing too many people how the sausage is made?
No, fuck the sausage. Who gives a shit? Tell good jokes. I know how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
I still laugh.
I still love sausage.
I fucking love sausage. When Tim Dillon, like I hadn't seen him in like 6 months, and I went to see him at the Vulcan.
Yeah.
He fucking murdered. You want to talk about know the sausage? I know that guy inside and out. I know everything about him. He's a fucking great guy. I'm friends with him.
Yeah.
I hang with him. We talk shit together privately. We text message. We send memes to each other.
But you still...
And I still laughed hard as fuck. Like, you can't know the sausage any more than like the way I know Joey Diaz or the way I know.
Yeah.
There's no.
I mean, I feel that way about, Nate and Big Jay and Shane.
So you still
Becky
laugh
Allen.
though, right?
My God, my favorite thing
great
is
comedy is fun, man. It's not going anywhere. You can't think like this.
I love
these people. You're a doom and gloom guy.
Oh, I mean, I'm trying to pull out of
Yeah,
it.
don't do that. I'm not a doom and gloom guy.
But I'm also trying to pull out of that because I think that was most of my life being like, other shoes coming, win. Constantly in everything, every relationship, everything. It was like, because probably of how I grew up and shit that happened to me when I was a teenager, I was probably like, yeah, it's doom and gloom. If something, exact example, when I talked to you about 2019, I felt when COVID happened, there was a part of me that was like, I was due.
You're due for a fall.
I was like, that was too many cool shit. That was too much good shit. So I think that's also why I also think every comedian, if you're a professional comedian, you should be in therapy or have a form of therapy because that's like a sports trainer helping
it
you
helps
so
you
you don't blow
sort
your
your
knees
bits
out.
out?
Yeah, well, you also like to process shit.
Right.
I've been able to look at,
insane.
like you saying I'm a doom and gloom guy.
Yeah.
15 years ago, I would be like, I knew, fuck, it's turning, you know? But like now, because I know myself, I'm
Right.
like, yeah, no, I am.
Yeah.
Straight up, I am. But I'm also trying to change that actively because then the more I change that, the more I can enjoy shit.
Well, the reality is no one knows what's going to happen in the future,
Yeah.
right? Anything can happen. And the real dark, dystopian, fucking dangerous future involves war and natural disasters.
Yes.
Those are the real scenarios that could wipe out everything.
Yes.
But if culture remains consistent and it stays the way it is right now with the access to the internet that people have today, comedy's not going anywhere. It's the most fun
Which is
thing.
great. Listen,
so
that's
let it
what
go.
I want.
Let it go.
Okay, cool.
We're going to be fine.
All right, cool. I'm going to light
Comedy's
this joint.
never... I'm in the middle of opening up a club, too.
I'm going to light this joint right now.
Light that joint back
and
up.
just have a little fun.
Let's do it. But no, it's not going anywhere. It's the best time for comedy I can ever recall.
Man, I got to do the Paramount last night.
Yeah,
I got to do
Paramount's dope.
Oh my God.
Dope theater. Really
I've been trying to
cool.
work that. I tried to
Cool people working there too.
I tried to film my Comedy Central Hour special there in
Oh, yeah?
2015 because I loved it. I opened for Hannibal there at Moon Tower, and I was like, it's the best set I've ever had. It was the most fun on stage, and I was like, I want to do my hour special there. And Comedy Central was like, you can't do that many people. And then I had to look at it and be like, all right. Again, comedy humbled me. They're
Yeah.
like, all right, go to a fucking rock club, idiot. So being able to do it last night meant a lot. And
It's a dope
crowd
spot.
I had Adrian Iapolucci there. It was in Josh Adam Myers. It was fun, man.
Look
It was
at you, pal.
Dude, it was like, that's why I hope comedy stays around because
It's not going anywhere,
It's
man.
the best.
Or we're fucked. If it's the last, like when COVID hit and they closed down everything and clubs shut down and they locked down, there was 2 weeks to flatten the curve those days. There was a moment when 2 weeks became a month and, all the fear mongering was being ramped up on television that I was like, okay, I have to accept this new world. And in this new world, comedy's gone.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I had a great time.
Yeah.
And I just let it go. And then I thought, okay, now I have to if this gets worse,
Yeah.
I have to think about where I'm living and I have to think about survival. Like you have to really think about actual real survival, not
The
like
real shit.
Not like you're fucking LARPing for a movie or you're doing a survival show where you're canning peaches. No, like large swaths of people could die if you make the wrong choice. It could be you.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how I felt. And then when I realized it wasn't that, then I was like, why can't I do comedy?
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Oh, you can.
this seems weird.
I think I honestly went through a very similar thing but what it did for me when I got to come back to do a weekend, I remember doing a weekend at St. Louis Helium, and it was like the first time I'd done it in fucking 9 weeks, and I was like, it was like kissing a child. You're like, oh, my baby, I fucking miss you. Let me hold your face. It was just like, God. They dropped the checks. I was like, yes, drop the checks. Everyone do math. Everyone do math in front of me.
We did the Houston Improv in July of 2020, and it was a little early. We were like, fuck it. Let's just do a weekend. We'll play it safe. We'll get tested.
Yeah.
We'll go there. We'll be smart. We'll stay away from everybody. We won't go to crowded places. And so we did it, and then I got super duper high when I got back home. And I thought, oh my God, what if I caught something? What if I give it to somebody and they die?
That is
And they die because I wanted to do stand-up.
That's such a specific feeling. Mm-hmm. To the T that I know exactly how you feel. Because you get back and you go, fuck. What if?
Super high, dude. Super duper.
Weed always we don't do
high.
that to you, or you'll have a great conversation with someone, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll leave and you'll get high and you'll be like, was I a fucking asshole?
Right, what did I say?
Was I a fucking dickhead?
I wasn't even thinking about what we were talking about.
We were just in Nashville, and we went over to Nate's for breakfast at his house, and I left, and I got real high in my hotel room, and I was like, did I not thank his wife for breakfast? And it was like, it just became this thing where I was like, oh shit.
No.
When I
They're
see
over
her
there
tonight,
talking, Dan didn't even thank you for
I'm
breakfast.
like, we got him eggs and bacon, and he ain't even going to say thank you. And I was like, I was just in my hotel room, like, did I fuck that up?
But doesn't it always like make you paranoid that you weren't a better person? Because it's like weed wants you to be nice.
Yes.
Weed wants you to be a better person.
That's my favorite.
It really does.
One of my favorite old Bill Hicks jokes where he's like, it's impossible to start a fight
Right.
on weed. And he goes, hey, buddy. Hey, Hey man, it's just like it is. It's like
It's possible, by the way. Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr. high as fuck.
Really.
Yeah, Mike's high all day. He doesn't give a fuck.
But for that specific, he like went and got fucking.
He gets high. He didn't change
Do you
what he
think
does.
that for fighters loosens them up? Like just like
I think for Mike it's great because Mike makes him calmer. Do you know how quickly he would have killed that guy if he wasn't high all the time?
for real.
That's how
Yeah.
annoying that dude was. That high Mike Tyson smacked him.
Yeah, you got a fucking mellow Mike beating on you.
Yeah, that's
you're a real dickhead.
He's
if
the
mellow
most
Mike,
mellow. He's very, very honest and like introspective, and I love talking to him, man. He knows a lot of shit too.
Dude, he said the wisest thing I've ever heard in my life. I was on Opie and Anthony right after Anthony got fired. Opie was bringing in different comics, just hanging out, and it was like me, Opie, and Jim, and Mike Tyson came in.
Oh wow!
And he looks at he knows them. So he says what's up to Opie and Jim, and he goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And I was like, oh. Immediately in my head, I'm like, oh fuck,
no.
I'm fuck. And then as the show goes on, he loosens up, and somehow Jim and I like bring something up about comedy, and I'm like, it always sucks when you're having a great set and you see a couple people that aren't enjoying it at all, which is normal, but it always kind of fucks with me. And Mike Tyson's like, looks at me, he's like, I felt the same way when I used to walk to the ring and I'd see one guy booing me. And I'm like, what did I do to you? Why are you booing me? And then Mike Tyson said the smartest thing I've ever heard in my life. He goes, it's a scary neighborhood up here and you're all by yourself. And I was like, he said that, I go, yeah, Mike Tyson, that was fucking awesome. I walked out of that like, I got fucking sage advice from the baddest man on the planet.
That's a great piece of advice too.
Because he's right.
It's a scary neighborhood up here, and you're all by yourself.
And you're like, damn, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, you never think about, you want to talk about doom and gloom. It's
Right.
like, that's exactly what it is.
But that is, you live and die in your mind in a lot of ways. You really
The
do.
more, because like I was talking about how like recalibrating and stuff, I really tried to focus on like calming down, having fun, being I love watching comics where you just know they're actually having fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Where you watch guys, because you can watch guys that are up there and you're like, that guy's doing his act. And
Right.
then you can see guys that you're like,
Doesn't it suck when it's you?
dude.
When you feel it, when you feel that you're just doing your act, like, oh no.
Yeah, it's a thing that I've been really actively trying to be like, don't just fucking do your jokes, because you're going at 50% when you're doing that.
Well, comedy is so strange, and for people who don't understand what it is, like it seems like we're just talking, right? That's why it's so weird, because everybody just talks, and everybody's funny. Like most people have said funny things. I know a lot of my friends have said funny things, but they've never gone on stage.
I know
So
funnier people in conversation that have never done comedy.
But
than
my point
comedians.
is, almost everybody has said something funny and made me laugh, and I'm a professional comedian. I'm like, it's hilarious. There's a giant difference between that and comedy. And the difference is that comedy is like a state of mind that you achieve in sync with the audience, where it's almost like mass hypnosis. And the audience is like, when someone's a great comic, like if Chris Rock's on stage, I give in to their thinking. I just go like, tell me what's going down, you know. And so I'm not saying what would I have done, or that doesn't seem wise.
Yeah, you're following their thought process.
I'm thinking like them. I'm on their frequency.
Yeah.
They take you on a frequency.
Yeah.
And when they capture you and they're killing, you're thinking like they're thinking, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
different than people think it is.
It's fun to watch like a Louis or Bill Burr, and you sit in the back and you watch, and they just like how fast but calm and slow they're able to be like, boom, got you, here we go.
Yeah.
Like Colin Quinn's new hour, I went and saw
Colin's
it.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's
Dude, Colin is one of the most underrated comedians of all time, because he's so fucking good.
I might say he's my top guy. Him and Attell, they're like, I think like Colin Quinn and Dave Attell are the pillars of New York City comedy.
I would agree. I would agree. They're both amazing.
I think from Colin and Dave, you get all the rest of us.
Yeah, Dave is another one. Like, you must see him if he's near you. He's a master at like one of the highest levels you'll ever see a stand up. He's that good.
But just so tight
He's
and
just
so
great. It's just polished professional, man. He's just so good.
But Colin has, you're talking about like being on their frequency. Like when you when you go watch it, and like you can go watch New York Story on Netflix where he explains all the races and people coming over to New York.
Right.
But when you get in his mindset, you're like, dude, this is so good. It's so it's deep. I don't know. It's funny.
You're
as shit.
thinking like him.
Yeah.
He's taking you on a thought journey, and you lock into his frequency.
I went out and like got tickets and
Yeah.
like went and saw a show. And you know,
Nice.
you become deadened for comedy when you
Right.
do it long enough. You're like, yeah, this is again. You're like, I'll go down to the butcher and get you some sausage. It's still
Right.
good, but like to go out and have it, like,
Yeah.
and to watch that new hour. And again, I know Colin. But I
Right.
was excited to see that hour and be like, damn, dude, he's got this bit, this bit. You want to leave being like, fuck, I got to go get better.
That's the beautiful thing about inspiration. You know, when you see someone who's really good, it actually gives you energy. It like fuels you. I saw Colin. I was one of the guests on. What was this fucking Tough Crowd?
Yeah.
I was one of the guests on Tough Crowd. But the best part of the show was Colin doing stand up to the audience. So Colin,
He did his own warm-up?
He did his own warm up. I mean, I don't know if he did it all the time, but he definitely did it the time I saw him.
Yeah.
So he goes out there. I don't remember if there was another comedian. I mean, if somebody warmed it up and then brought up Colin, I don't
Yeah.
remember. But I remember Colin casually walking around the set, fucking murdering. I mean, murdering.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like, oh my God, this is so tight. This stuff's so good.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, like, this sucks. Like, what we're doing is funny, but it's not as funny as this.
Yeah.
Like, the audience is seeing a thing that's better than this guy is known for being famous for.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew he was a funny comic, but I'm telling you, like, the act was so good. I'm like, this guy should be filling stadiums. It's that good.
That's a great way of putting it because you
Right?
see these jokes. He has throwaway lines that, and same with the tell, like these throwaway
Yes.
jokes that you're like, dude, you know how many comics would fucking kill for that? Back in 2008, when it was McCain and Obama, I saw Colin at the Cellar just have this throwaway line where he's like, John McCain really smiles like a father that's about to become violent. And you're like, that's so funny. It's so. And then in 2016, he said like,
With his fucking delivery.
yeah, and he's
His delivery.
like Hillary, her campaign speeches have the authenticity of a lap dance, and you're like, it's just like it's like these jokes that just are so in time. And
But when you see it live,
it's the best.
see, what I'm like, I want to be real clear about this because he was a great host of Tough Crowd. It was a great show. It was very funny.
Yeah, I think it inspired my entire
His
generation.
stand-up that night was so funny that I was like, why aren't they just showing that?
Yeah, put that on.
Put that on.
I mean, and then what I loved is seeing Colin living in New York. You get to like watch him workshop it, right? But I don't do that. When I see like Colin will do it at the Fat Black Pussycat, he'll run it on Monday nights. Like he'll build his new hour, and I like wait. And I kind of am like, how far? Like I'll see him, and I'll be like, how far along? He's like, it's getting there. And then you like kind of wait, and then because then you go see it, and it's like, this is worth the wait. This is incredible. Just it's fun. I still have that thing about comedy where I love watching it. Like I love watching really good comedy.
You're never gonna lose it. You're not dumb.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's the reason why you got into it in the first place is because you liked watching comedy.
Yeah, it was
know?
like, dude, when I moved to New York, that feeling of going. Did you have that when you did Boston, LA? But Boston was big. You guys that was a big comedy city.
It was a good scene.
Yeah.
It was a super lucky scene. Like when I came along in 1988 is when I started. August 27th, 1988.
We all have our launch
Yeah,
date.
we all had a launch date. There was 5 clubs in this one small area.
Yeah, I watched that documentary when Stand Up Stood Out.
It's a great documentary.
Great.
Yeah, Fran Salamita made it. He's
Yeah.
a guy who's from that area, so he knew the whole story, and he got great footage, and it was a really special time. But that was before me, honestly. I rode the wave after those guys.
Okay.
Those guys like the Lenny Clarks
Yeah.
and the Steve Sweeneys, they were murderers, but when I was an open micer, they were headliners.
Dude,
They were like the previous generation, and they were as good as anybody in the country, man.
When I moved to New York and became friends with Joe List, he's like the Prince of Boston. So he was like giving me so much fucking propaganda films. It's like, fucking Boston's the best. Everyone's good's from Boston. We'd get drunk, he'd say that. But he would show that documentary, and I saw that documentary, I was like, man, that's what a great scene to start in, because you're seeing tried and true killers, and also like you're amongst a lot of other good young comics.
They weren't. It's understating. I'm telling you, they were the best comics in the world.
Yeah.
They were that good. The audiences in Boston, especially like in the 80s and the early 90s, they didn't have room for any bullshit.
Yeah.
These guys were rapid fire punchline machines.
Yeah.
They were some of the best comics in the world, but a lot of their comedy was like local comedy. And a lot of their comedy was about like local stuff, And
Local, always can bury you.
And it didn't work on the road at all.
Yeah.
It didn't work on the road at all. You do Boston jokes in LA, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about what you're saying. You don't get all the juice that's attached. See, if you're doing a local joke, there's extra juice that's attached to that subject because everybody knows what you're talking about. It's a thing.
That's what Tim Dillon and I jokingly refer to as the Long Island Trap. You go out there to work, and you got a guy who's like real big in Long Island. He's like, guess what? I'm throwing out 3 Ronkonkomos and I'm burying you. I'm burying your bitch ass, city boy. And you're like, and it's a fucking
real
fight.
thing. It's a real thing.
Because then you go up there and you're like, you look almost disrespectful. You're like, I don't know. I don't know what your fucking people do here. And they're like, you don't know Ronkonkoma? Oh, bro. First off, I'm from out from Long Beach, and that's just fucking bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
It's Syosset. And you're like, oh, fuck, I don't know, dude.
They get really vocal.
Yeah, dude. I would bring, Tim would feature for me, but, I would take him to Long Island, and he'd be like, why do I got to go to Long Island? You take Gary Vee to Denver? But you take me to Long Island, so I took him to Comedy Works. Like, this is right before he started headlining, and I was like, "Dude, come to Comedy Works with me." It was amazing, but he was the Long Island whisperer. Like, you would take him out there, and you'd fucking shout him down like a lion tamer, and then you go up and be like, "I'm gonna do my act."
That's awesome.
He'd clear the brush in Long Island, and you'd be like, "Fuck, this is great." And that's also like when I'd go on the road with Shane, you would see like him in like an Albany. Or like a fucking Boston, he's just good luck. Good luck following him because he's just
good luck following Shane anywhere.
I mean, now absolutely,
bro. Shane, that
but I'm saying when
fucking
he's coming
Trump
up
thing when he closes with this Trump impression, and he can do it. He does it to a T.
I'm telling you right now,
funny jokes.
I don't want to give it away, but his Navy SEALs bit and his George Washington bit are things that you watch as a comic and you walk away and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta go work."
He's great.
That's the thing. That's what I love about Norman's got jokes like that. I'll watch Norman and or Sam Morril. Yeah. Sam Morril, you'll see him do a new 15 minutes and you're like, what the fuck, dude? I thought, well, who's doing all this work? I thought we're going to work at the same pace. Stop it. I have one new tag from a bit I've been doing for 6 months, and he comes in with a fully... And that's what's fun is to come up with those guys, then become like contemporaries with them where you're like, damn, dude, I love seeing his new shit. Or just, people do jokes where you're like, fuck. I gotta get a better joke.
Yeah, well, that's what's inspirational about those places. Like, if you're in New York, I guess it's like the Cellar and the Stand. It was the Store in L.A. And when you can be around, in Boston, it was Nick's Comedy Stop and Stitches. Those were the 2 clubs that I got to see all these Boston legends.
Yeah, I got to do Nick's coming up.
Nick's was great.
Nick's would when I was coming up, it was in a dance club.
Oh yeah, downstairs was a dance club,
and they would boot you. No matter what, the show had to be over at 9 because they had to turn it into a dance club.
Oh.
And you go from feeling so cool as a comedian to being in the way instantly.
What year was this?
2007 through 2011.
Oh, wow.
So it was like,
the upstairs was a dance club?
It was like,
they converted the upstairs to a dance club?
Yeah, it was down in the theater district. And
I worked there a ton of times.
So the big stairs, you go upstairs to the big stairs, and then out was like, it was in the sunken middle was where the audience would sit, and you would be all the way against the back wall with the bar behind you.
Right, exactly.
At 9 o'clock.
Wow.
Cut the mic, everybody out.
They just grab all the tables and chairs, and it becomes a dance club?
They're like, get the fuck out of here. And first time I'm like, one of the first times working it, I have like a good set, and I'm like, hey, let me get another shot. And the guy's like, get the fuck out of here. And you're like, just a second ago, you were comping me drinks a second ago. And they're like, get out of here. And then all the Boston guys know.
Yeah.
So like Joe List or Dan Bolger or Tom Dustin's like, come on, we got to fucking go. And you're like, shit. It just goes from being like special to being like, you fucking vagrant.
They used to have 3 comedy rooms simultaneously running in that club.
I mean, yeah, that's what's crazy about
it. It was the upstairs, that was the regular club,
yeah.
And then they had a smaller room that was downstairs, and then they had this gigantic fucking like disco. They only did the disco a few times.
I wonder if the disco was where...
That's the downstairs.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't do that.
It was a gay club. It was like a gay nightclub, and I think they went under, or maybe they became a gay club again. But it was like a guy's hookup joint.
Yeah.
And then,
so they really want you out of there. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Come on.
I don't remember like when Nick's had it. If there was like maybe someone lost a lease or something, and they had it for a little while. But during the comedy, the point is that during the comedy boom, it was so great that they were running simultaneous shows with all these killers, and they were just sold out all the time. So they were running these shows where you'd have like Steve Sweeney, Don Gavin, Kevin Knox, just boom, 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 Mike Donovan. These guys were murderers, man. Don Gavin was a fucking murderer. Steve Sweeney was a murderer.
And then
Like,
you're
you
also
didn't even, you didn't want to be in the room. You would get hypnotized.
Really?
And you would think that you're about to die going on after those guys. Like
there was
no one's gonna survive this.
There's that scene in when Stand Up Stood Out when Lenny Clark talks about like I opened Stitches, I went down to Nick's, closed that, opened that show, went, and he's like talking about all the money and the blow and everything. And you're like, look at that,
it's amazing.
Fucking go. You know,
Lenny's the best.
The Cellar got. You know, they're working like 4 rooms where you go do the Fat Black, and then you can go do the Village Underground, walk around the corner, do the original room, and it's like the store had that with the belly room, and it's like when you're in a comedy club and there's 3 rooms working, you're like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's just cool, especially if you're a regular at the club. You can jump on at a couple shows.
Yeah, the store was always awesome like that because there was belly room shows you could do. The OR, the main room.
Yeah, that's whenever I visited, because I haven't spent a lot of time in LA, I noticed that the store really is almost built for that. Like the way the hallway all converges and you're like, that room, that room, that room. But the Cellar was great because once, you know, the Cellar was just that small room. And then to open the Village Underground and then boom, go up top. And then you could just go and be like, I got 4 spots to stand. They had 1 room and then they moved to a new place with 2 rooms. And you're like, this is fucking great.
Did you ever read any Malcolm Gladwell? You ever read Outliers?
No, but I
Gladwell.
did read
Did I say
Blink.
Gladwell? How did I say it?
I think you got it. I think
That's how high I am. I'm not sure if I said his name right.
No, I think you got Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, his Outliers is fucking incredible. And they talk about the Beatles. And the Beatles, when they were in Germany, when they were playing 8 hours a day. Yeah. They were just playing constantly.
Nonstop.
And they came back to England afterwards, and they were just a way better band. They were way better.
Well, it's you know, his theory is the 10,000 hours. But there's a great book called Talent is Overrated. And what the guy does is he basically builds with Gladwell's theory to be like, time is very important, but applied practice is more important. So making your shortcomings strong. You know, he gives examples of like violinists, pianists, like chess players, like people that have to do repetitions. And he talks about Jerry Rice on the 49ers and about how he would do like those hand clamps. He'd just walk around with the hand clamps and people are like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm strengthening my hands so that when a ball gets thrown, I have stronger hands than the guy trying to take it from me. So he would work meticulously. Tiger Woods with his backswing, his dad would hit hit him with an air horn. So now when it happens, it's just all natural. It's a great book because the guy really says if you spend 45 minutes a day working on applied practice and like making your shortcomings your strengths, that's how you build everything up. Yeah. Like all together. You just raise the whole thing.
For people, it's just hard to get going.
Yeah.
Once you get good habits and good practices, it feels normal to keep them up. It's just hard to get going.
I mean, that's almost exactly what we're talking about with the road, where it's like I got into doing that and like working that. Yeah. And then when it went away and I came back, I was like, fuck, dude, I got to get back up to doing that. Get back up to getting that energy.
It's comedy's a strange thing, man, because you're never done with it. It's never like
and it changes.
I would imagine if you play guitar, I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I imagine you get to a level like, can Gary Clark Jr. get better? He can't get better.
I think he can do new stuff, and I think he can
he's going to create new songs, but he's not going to get better at playing the actual guitar.
You're saying like the actual hitting chords.
Is it possible?
Probably. I wonder what Clapton thinks about shit like that, because he's been like...
I mean, it makes sense. You get better at everything, right?
Yeah, so I'm sure there's like ways Keith Richards plays now that he didn't in the 70s or 80s.
Well, there's a thing about guitar, and I don't know jack shit about music.
Yeah, me either.
I'm just going to say this right away. But certain people, when they play it, I know it's them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. Classic example. Like you hear Stevie Ray Vaughan play guitar and like you're pretty sure that's Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Jimi Hendrix, you hear like
Gary Clark. Yeah, Gary Clark Jr. Same thing. Like you hear him play. Like they did a cover of Midnight Rider. It was Honey Honey and Gary Clark Jr. They did an impromptu cover. So impromptu that Suzanne from Honey Honey is reading the lyrics off her phone. She had to Google the lyrics right before they sang the song. Yeah. So she gets the lyrics on her phone. She's singing Midnight Rider. And Gary Clark Jr. is playing guitar, but he did it like a Gary Clark Jr. version of Midnight Rider.
Immediately on the spot.
Shit. Immediately.
Yeah. That's some crazy shit. When someone can make it theirs almost instantaneously and kind of put that like, you know.
Dude, is that still up? That's on my Instagram, right? You need to see this. I put a little video of it on the Instagram. You need to see it because it's like so indicative of what we're talking about. It's like when he starts playing it, you fucking know that's him. If someone played that for you and said, "Who is this?"
Yeah, you'd be like Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah, like but it's a guitar.
With someone like him, who's just like from a very young age, incredible at a thing, incredible at an instrument.
Right.
What do you think the coolest phase of that is? Like as you're getting better, what do you think the coolest? Like if you could cut a slice of cake out of that.
I think it's probably the early days.
Like when you're like this, where you're like, oh, I can go like this.
Yeah,
like,
I think the
like,
early
I could
days,
go like that. You know
when
that
you first started getting really good, it was probably the most magical. But I
you
bet it'll be awesome to be this though. Listen to this shit, man. Come on, son.
Yeah.
This is midnight on a Tuesday. Right?
Crazy.
I mean, you know who that is. Have you heard
also,
that?
no.
If you heard that, you'd be like, that's Gary Clark.
But I'm saying, like, I've never heard this, and it's immediately.
It's fucking incredible, dude. Dude, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. But how goddamn good is it?
You also watch it, and I know exactly.
He's just so fucking cool, too. Like, look at him up there with the hat, the
That's what I
leather
mean.
jacket.
I think of myself missing and being like, check.
God damn, that's good.
So I think what you were saying, can he get better? I think he takes more risks now because he knows he can land them, you know?
Well,
like trying to do that or soloing on that, the ability to solo, them just riffing or whatever, has got to be like, when you're that good, it's like dunking in the NBA. You're like, you want to see some crazy shit? And you can try, and you probably have more momentum to try that.
Well, I know Gary, and he is super dedicated to music. It's another thing. It's like you don't get to be like that.
Yeah.
He's constantly in the studio. Yeah. He's constantly practicing.
It has to be an obsession.
Constantly. I mean, he's as famous as he is for music. The guy's all in. You don't get that good without that.
Yeah.
You have talent for sure. There's people that are just geniusly creative through whatever weird quirk of their personality. They're really creative.
Yeah, they're bent right.
But when you get to like a certain level of like a Dave Attell, like a certain level of proficiency, you only get that way through work. Like Dave is constantly working.
Yeah, he's running jokes.
Constantly.
I remember I think it was after like the Boston Marathon bombing. I was outside smoking a cigarette at the cellar, and Attell walked up and he's like, "How many bombing jokes do you have?" And I was like, "None." And he's like, "Come on." And I was like, "None." And he's like, "I've got 4." And he like walked downstairs and he's like, dude, my favorite Dave Attell story is he loves to run bits to see if anyone else is doing them. Because that's how originally is. He's like, I want to make sure no one else is doing this joke. So he'll call comics and then be like, have you heard this premise? Have you heard anyone use this premise?
Right.
So I lived with Mike Vecchione for 10 years. Like Mike Vecchione, one of the best comics in New York, just absolutely hilarious. And Attell would call Vecchione, because they're buddies, and just talk. But he would run jokes.
Oh, wow.
So one time I'm in San Francisco, and Vecchione calls me. He goes, "Hey, I'm busy. Attell's going to call you to run bits." And it was like cold water breathing. You're like, okay, cool. Fucking, yeah, have him call me. Have him call me. And it's a block number, and I pick it up, and I'm like, "Hello?" And he's like, "Dan, Dave Attell. Have you ever heard anybody do this joke?" Bop, 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 bop. Fucking 20 of them. And I go, actually, for the cereal one, you could tag. He goes, "Not looking for tags." And I go, yeah, I haven't heard anybody do that. He goes, "Okay, thank you," and hung up. And I was like, fuck. And then I get high and I'm like, "Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, fuck. I tried to give Dave Attell a tag. I'm a fucking idiot." And I called Vecchione like an emergency. Like, "Dude, is he going to be mad at me?" And he's like, "No, just he might not ever call you again."
It's just one of those things you don't know what to say.
Yeah. It's like Gary Clark Jr. being like, "Does this A sound right?"
Right.
And you're like,
well, it's like if your friend called you and told you a bit, you'd offer him a tag. So you just did what you normally would do.
That's what I did if Vecchione would call me. I'd be like, "Hey, yeah, I'd say this." Dude.
You're like, "What have I done?"
And the way Attell talks, him just going, "Not looking for tags." I was like, I'm surprised I didn't crush my phone in my hand.
God.
Yeah, I was mortified. And then he called me again, and I knew. Like, you don't need to get taught that lesson twice. The second time he called me, I was just like, "Nope, haven't heard anybody do that." And he's like, "Okay." And you're like, and we're out. Okay.
All right.
And
I'm
we're
a
safe.
reliable source again.
He hangs up. I'm like, I just put my phone down. Just fucking paranoid. Yeah, Because like when your friends call and they're like, "Hey, I do this," you'd be like, what about this? Say this.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell a guy that's done the 10,000 hours.
Also, they're probably great bits.
Oh man, two of them.
He never has duds. It's
No.
very rare that one doesn't. Maybe if he's like trying to figure it out still.
Yeah, and it's also if he goes on stage at the Cellar, he's like Miles Davis. Like if you kind of know he's going to come in sideways, you're like, this is going to be interesting. If he's wearing his black leather gloves and his hat and he's drinking his coffee, it's going to be a weird set.
I knew Drinking Dave.
I talked to Jay about that on the Bonfire. I'm obsessed with that because Jay opened for Dave while he was drinking and then right after he stopped drinking.
Well, he's one of the best examples of a guy who got way better when he stopped drinking. He got way better. I mean, he was always great. He was always a very funny comic. But he was doing that show, that late what the fuck
Insomniac?
was that called? Insomniac, that's right. That show was doing him in because he was getting hammered with people all over the place, and he was showing up at bars and drinking, and it was part of the gig of the show. He
It's
would
part
show
of the
up,
sell.
drink with people, and then he would go out and like fucking shoot nutrias with
I remember that when he went down to New Orleans and they shot all those rats.
Yeah, those giant, they're nutrias. You ever seen one of those in real life? You're like, what the fuck? They're invasive. They're a giant invasive rodent. I think it's from Asia or Europe. Where's a nutria from? I don't. Maybe it might even be South American, but they're fucking giant, dude. Like this big. Like a small dog.
Like the rats in Princess Bride?
Oh, bigger. Let me see if you could get what a nutria looks like. I think they get to like 40 or 50 pounds.
I just remember Dave shooting at him in Insomniac.
Yeah.
He got killed at a club and then went out and did.
They hunt them. They have to go out at night and hunt them.
So when you say they're invasive.
Somebody brought them over here and they started fucking.
Oh, I thought you meant like they bust into your house and shit like that. Like, get the fuck in
No,
here.
they're like wild pigs. Wild pigs are also an invasive species. They're not native to North America.
The guy doing that got to have a smirk the whole time. He's like, I'm bringing over some shit.
They didn't know what they were doing back then.
I was saying, like, you bring those kind of rats over here and you're like, you guys want to see some crazy shit? I'm bringing some crazy shit over here.
Imagine if you were that diabolical.
Look at that,
The
dude.
size of that fucking thing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're giant. I mean, it's like a small dog, right?
Yeah, dude. That is fucking massive.
And they're all over the place.
It's so funny,
Look
though.
at the size of that fucker. Holy shit.
Because they're like 2 inches away from beavers who are just adorable.
Adorable. Well, that's like rats and squirrels, right?
Yeah,
How
squirrels.
close? Squirrels and rats are fucking pretty close in size and shape.
They just don't have a blowout.
It's
They
that
just-
cool tail.
Yeah.
The tail that like shows like emotion and stuff.
They do a little circle, but rats just have that fucking.
They got fucked in the tail
that
department.
yeah, there it is, dude.
Yeah, Insomniac with David Tell shooting at nutrias. And Jamie, where did nutrias come from?
Dude, I would love to.
They brought him over somehow or another and didn't understand what was happening. And they got
It's got to be
out of control.
That's got to be the biggest mind fuck. The
Yeah.
first time you see that, you go, dude. I think the rats are hitting the gym. Something's up. They're coming out fucking big and mean.
First time someone saw one.
Just it coming out and being like, "What's up?" I remember like the first time I saw a muscly pit bull. Like the first time, you're like, "What the fuck is that thing?"
The ones they're breeding now, they look like cartoons.
Yeah, they walk around like Schwarzenegger in the
Super
Olympia days.
jacked. And you know, guys exercise them.
How do they do like a?
You have
presses?
a fucking treadmill. They have pit bull treadmills. I'm not bullshitting you. They have game dog treadmills, and these game dog treadmills are like. Have you ever used one of them? CrossFit, like I have one called the Air Runner. It's the shit. It's a self-propelled treadmill.
So the more you push off it,
right? You're pushing off of it. It's not moving on its own.
Yeah.
So it's got a slope to it, and you're running. And I think it's like something like 10% or 15% harder than just regular running. So it actually is better for you.
Oh, so it's double fuck
more
that for me.
difficult than regular running.
Yeah.
But that's what they do with these pit bulls. They put them on these self-propelling treadmills.
And they're just like, fuck
and
it.
they're just fucking going after it. Or they put them on ones where they make them keep up with the treadmill. Like they have a motor treadmill going.
Dude,
like there's different, but they work them out, man. They have them pull stuff. They put like things in their mouth and have them pull stuff.
They just become Magnus Magnuson. They just become these world's strongest men.
Exactly.
And then it's
But
a dog.
If it works for a person, it would work for a dog.
That's so funny to implement to be a dog, like an
Yeah.
actual trainer. And you're like, I'll get your dog jacked. Show up.
But they're fucking amazing dogs. They really are. If they didn't like to fight other dogs so much, they'd be like the best dog. But they want to fight other dogs.
If
man.
you weren't just so violent, taking my dog to the dog park and watching a dog that you know is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Especially on the, like New York City. Those dog parks are like prison yards.
Yep.
You don't know who the
Like
fuck.
here it is. This is one of the pit bull treadmills.
He's like,
I don't
come
think
on,
he's
don't make me
excited
work out. Okay,
No,
I'll go.
I think
I'll
he
go.
wants it.
Oh yeah, that tail.
Seems
It looks
very
like he
happy
wants
that he
it.
wanted it. He starts taking
He
off
likes it.
once he's in.
Let me go. Let me go.
Oh, do they let him? They just tell him, Brady.
Now that you know, he's like, I
Look at
can't
him.
wait.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's
Dude,
insane.
he's so sad. I've never seen a dog.
Look at this
go,
dog
dude,
go.
Goes.
Oh my god.
Dude, that was so funny.
Bro, that is insane.
Once you realized that he was excited, that was so fucking funny.
Yeah, because you can't say that dog doesn't love that.
Look at that. Look at him.
That dog fucking loves that.
Number one, he's got the telltale sign, which is the butt wiggle. When the
Yeah.
whole butt wiggles, they're super pumped.
I guess we just have to not look at it like it's involuntary. It's clearly voluntary.
right there.
That
Look.
dog wants this he wants to do this so much. It's probably fun as hell because his body is like a super tuned athlete's body.
Yeah.
Must feel amazing.
He's
to
like,
just
please?
full out sprint on a treadmill.
Yeah, let me uncap it. Look at that. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, but like running for a dog like that, being like held back by a chain must feel great. You know, because it just fucking
Dude, then he
They have
gets
like-
off.
It's like you're exercising like a superhero body. Like a pit bull is a superhero body.
In the world of dogs, they're Superman.
Superheroes.
Yeah.
The real superheroes, those Belgian Malinois. Have
Bring
you
it
seen
up.
those?
Bring
You
it
don't
up,
know?
Jamie. Let's see the
Oh,
fucking Malinois.
Dude, you never. They don't even seem real.
Really? I'm
They
excited
can
to see
jump
this.
30 feet through the air like they're flying.
Oh,
You've never
fuck
seen
yeah.
anything like it. They use them for the military. They're attack dogs. And it's not a dog that you want to have as like a
What the
fucking. Look at
fuck?
this. Dude,
What the fuck
yeah,
is
that's
that?
what I'm saying.
What the
That's
fuck
a Belgian
is that?
Malinois.
That fucking dog just climbed, dude.
Bro.
Look at this guy.
Good fucking luck.
Holy
Good luck. Watch
shit.
this. Watch this. Look at the height. Look at the height.
Oh my god. Got it.
In John Wick 3, Halle Berry had Belgian Malinois.
That's what that was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were Belgian Malinois.
Dude.
But these fucking things will climb up trees. They'll run straight up a wall.
You know what I'm talking
They can
about?
fly through the air, and all they want to do is fuck things up.
Yeah, you want to talk about? We were talking about the first person
Look at that thing.
that saw those big rats. Could you imagine being in a tree, being like, "I got away from this dog," and then he just flies up? Holy
Look
shit!
how it just climbed that roof, dude. Look, he's
That's
walking
insane.
across wires. They're super smart, and they need exercise. So if you're a person that has one of these, and you think you're just going to leave it in your backyard, you're torturing this thing.
I'm gonna show my dog these videos to be like, "Hey, just know this: these dogs are out there. These dogs are out there.
Yeah.
I know you love treats, and I know you love to go to the park. Look at that fucking."
The military guys call them meat missiles. They let
great.
the meat missiles go.
That's-
Dude, they will fuck you up.
Do
And
they
they're not big
respond-
dogs. They're like 60, 70 pounds max, I think.
Do they respond to like? I always loved watching the German Shepherds respond. In
Oh,
ways
yeah.
where they're like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
come trained.
Oh, yeah. When you have a dog like that, it's like having a weapon.
Yeah.
It's not like a regular dog. You have a human attacking weapon. And so it's weird that you can have one. It's
Yeah.
weird that you can have like a human attacking weapon. But you can train them and they'll be good dogs. I've been around guys who had them and they're good dogs.
Man, just imagine if one of those in the burbs and you lose a ball in a backyard and you're like, well, here's the deal. You can get the ball. That dog's coming right over that fence with you. That dog is going to chase you till...
A buddy of mine had one in LA and he used to bring it to the studio. It was a military dog. He was cool as fuck.
That's awesome.
Cool as fuck. Easy to be around. But you didn't want to bring other dogs around. Or you didn't want, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I just know how goofy my dog is.
my dog's goofy.
Yeah, and she would just be like, hey, who are
Yeah.
you? And he's like, I am trained. Do not come near me.
Yeah, 'cause I'd have to tell him when I was bringing my dog by. I'm like, hey, man, I'm bringing Marshall by. Marshall's a golden retriever. His zero, like, there's no aggression in him. It doesn't exist. Unless you're a squirrel.
Yeah.
If you're a squirrel, he's there to bring death.
I grew up with a golden retriever. They
They're
are
the best dogs.
the sweetest boys in the world.
Yeah,
They
they're just so
are-
sweet.
My dog was fat because I loved to feed him, but he could still move. It was like Jerome Bettis.
Yeah. Well, they're bird dogs.
Yeah, I would go to the backyard and play a game where I'd take 2 tennis balls, and so I was like growing up, and I'd throw one to one end, and then he would run down and get it, and I'd throw the other one to that one, and then he would dart across the room, and I'd just keep doing that, and at the end he'd be like, yeah. He just saw
Yeah,
on his
they
face,
love
he's
it.
like, this rules.
Dogs love to run.
Yeah.
You know, like that dog was jumping on that treadmill. That's how my dog gets when I throw the tennis ball for him. He gets fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go.
Let's fucking
go.
party.
Sometimes he starts running. I haven't even thrown it. I go, dude, look, it's right here. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even trick you.
I love the
You
play
just
action
ran.
when you
Yeah.
run it, and they're like, "Got it," and you're like, yeah, right? Yeah, you fucking just remember that. I got a little bit of brains on you.
He was the easiest dog that I've ever had to train to bring things back too.
Oh, they're retrievers.
Yeah,
I mean, it's in the name.
I mean, it was instant.
Yeah.
It was instant. Like the fetch thing, instant.
Dude, I grew up when I got my golden retriever when I was like 9, like because our other dog died, and I got him and just got to be like my dog. You know what I mean? Where he was like, this is my guy. I came back from college. The first Thanksgiving I came back from college, Montana was like, he has risen. He has risen. I just walked in being like, I'm back, Montana. Come and love me. And he was like doing those things, they jump up and circle around and you're like, yeah, it's a fucking party. That's the best, man. Having a dog, my girlfriend and I got a dog in the pandemic and it made, like that dog rules. She comes on the road with me now. It just fucking rules.
They're the coolest animals.
They're just like, you look at them and you're like, you're all about a good time, dude.
Yeah, they're all about love. It's like, it's an amazing creation of the bastardization of nature.
Of a wolf.
We've taken a wolf and turned it into this like love machine.
Yeah, dude, I had an old joke that never really stuck with about just the first guy to bring a wolf in a village. And he's like, hey, no, it's my best friend. And everyone's like, dude, fuck that shit.
Fuck that.
Don't bring that thing near me.
Well, people forget what wolves were. We think of wolves as these beautiful animals that live in the mountains, and they
white
should.
fang.
We have to bring them back because what happened was in the old West days they poisoned them. Yeah. Why do you think they did that?
Because they were coming for their kids.
Because they were eating their kids.
Yeah.
Like they ate a lot of people.
Yeah, you realize that, like we were talking about that book, The Heart of Everything, that is about Red Cloud in like the Western Sioux, and they talked about when they laid the train tracks, and us whites were coming west with the repeater fucking rifle just shooting buffalo.
Yeah.
And then what happens is they can't use it because it's rotten meat, but then the wolves come. So then they were like, oh, we'll clean up the wolves. And now the wolves are just terrorizing tribes and shit because they're like, oh, these dead fucking buffalo are nearby.
Oh, my God.
And then you got to be like, yeah. So then they started putting poison on the wolves, and that just fucked everything up. Started getting in the water and shit. You're like, damn, what a domino effect.
Oh, that has to happen if you're going to kill an apex predator.
Yeah.
And that's, by the way, the only effective way to kill them in large numbers. They're so smart. Unless you have like a concerted effort to gun them down from helicopters and you chase them into open areas, they hunt them like that in certain areas of the world.
Yeah.
Because they have a population that they need to control.
Just being like, wolves. Can you imagine living in a place on Earth where you're like, fucking wolves, dude?
I was in
got
Canada
my girl.
once. I was in Canada once, and it was I was coming back from Alberta, and I think it did a show there, and I must have had something on me that made this guy come up to me and ask me about hunting. I don't know, maybe I had a magazine I was reading or something like that.
Yeah.
And he goes, we do a lot of wolf hunting up here. And he was a regular guy. I mean, he looked like a guy that you would see that goes, yeah, I sell fucking auto insurance.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like a crazy looking guy. I go, how often do you wolf hunt? He goes, every chance we can. We got to get rid of them. They're fucking everywhere. I go, what? And so he's telling me what he does is take meat, like scraps of meat and stuff, and they freeze it. And they freeze it in like a garbage tub.
Sure.
And then they make a giant meat sickle, and they leave it out there, and then they wait.
And they just
and
go
then the wolves have figured it out. It's harder to get them now because they've killed a few this way, but they hide like in tree stands with rifles, and that's the most effective way he's found to kill wolves. They have to draw them in.
It's meat sickles.
Well, the thing is, man, there's so many trees.
Yeah, they can.
And these motherfuckers are smart, and they can smell 100,000 times better than you.
Just think about being a dumb wolf.
Things.
Just being a dumb wolf and being like, look
live.
at that fucking meat sickle. You know,
Well,
just fucking catch a rifle.
Most likely young.
Yeah.
It's most likely young wolves because I'm sure they operate the way rats do. Rats will send, like there's that documentary on Netflix, Rats. You ever watch that?
No.
Fucking great.
Yeah?
Great. Terrifying.
I need a road movie.
It's a good one.
All right.
It's a real good one.
Hell yeah.
Rats send a young dumb one out to check to see if something's poison. And they see this one like eats it, and they're like, "Yep, see, Harry, it's fucking poison."
It's one guy's like, "That was my kid."
So they figured out poison. Rats know what poison is. They know that some stuff, if you eat it, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
That battle, if you're on the human side of it, where you're like stressed out, and they're like, "What's wrong, dude?" And you're like, "Fuck it, I'm in a race of new poison against rats. I got to fucking outsmart these things."
Yeah.
They knew my old poison. They know my old shit.
I think they just keep using it and they kill dumb young rats and they think they're doing a good job. But what this documentary exposed is that there's this like sophisticated culture down. It's a fucking ruthless, nasty, vicious culture. But like rats have a civilization. There's more rats in New York City than there are human beings.
I know. And living there, you're reminded of that walking through parks late at night by garbage bags. When I moved to New York in 07, it was one of those things where I was outside smoking at an open mic just by a mountain of trash, and you just see like bags move.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you see one go and you're like, oh, and you know that fact. You've heard that. I heard that fact by then, that there's more rats than people in New York, and you're like, oh, those are the brazen ones. Yeah. Those are the ones that are like, yeah, we're out here.
Yeah,
You're
who's
like,
under the surface?
Yeah, dude, or just thinking about under that, dude, it's fucking.
I went to a gas station once, and this is back in the day when I didn't have a cell phone. I had to use a fucking payphone. This is how long ago this is.
Nice.
So I'm pumping my gas, and I go over to use this payphone. And as I'm using the payphone, like 10 feet away from my car, I watch a rat run out, jump on my wheel, my tire, and then disappear somewhere in my fucking car.
Jesus Christ, just walking
Just went
around.
into my car.
Just in the body of your car.
The body of my car.
Did you ever find it?
I think it's it went into the engine bay or something. And then another one does it. And then another one does it. And then there's all these rats jumping up on my car and climbing into my fucking car.
How do you drive away with that?
Well, I shut the door and they all scattered. I guess, because I never found. I just figured I'm just gonna drive. I'm like, I don't think they can get into the car from the engine bay.
Can you imagine just
Oh my
driving?
God.
You see one and like just across.
But
up
they
on the
were
top.
just so many of them. The point is that as soon as you stopped your car, they jumped on your car.
Yeah.
They jumped over the top of your tires in the back wheel well, and they were like running around in my car. They were checking my car for food. Like, what if my window was open?
Yeah.
Maybe they would jump in and start eating a Subway sandwich.
And
I
by
left
the way,
behind.
they're willing to risk it all for an open bag of Funyuns.
They are not scared of you, even
At all.
remotely.
The New York one always puts up these videos occasionally of like a Taco Bell on 54th Street, and you're just watching like 30 rats just be in the thing, and you're like, holy shit. And they did it to the Taco Bell by the restaurant I worked at, that I like, just go get a cheap, Taco Bell, just go get a quesadilla. And then you saw that
Infested.
video, you're like, oh my
fuck. God. just
Yeah, dude,
infested.
there's
There's so many of them.
so many. And you go down, one of the grossest things I've ever seen in my life is New York City summer, riding the subways, like off the train. It's like, 100 out. It's got that humidity. I was at the
smell.
Dude, I was at the West 4th stop, right? And it's this long fucking tunnel when you're going downtown on it, and you get off on 3rd Street. It's like this long fucking tunnel where there's all these advertisements. And I'm looking ahead, and I'm watching people move. I'm like, I got my earbuds in, and I'm like watching, I'm seeing people, and they're like jumping. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I look, and there's this rat that has half his fur gone. It's just fucking bald on one side, and it's dying, and it's like, and it's fucking big, and it's like, and it's just going side to side. Dude, I ran by like this, like I made a noise, like running by it. I was like, because it was going up and I was going up. I was like, oh no, dude, it was so gross. It was just basically like, kill me, fucking kill me.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, thinking about it now, and it was hot, and it was like, dude, this thing. They don't give a fuck. That thing was
running around with people, like not scared of the people.
It was dying. It was just like,
God.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Put me out of my goddamn misery.
I wonder if that's what it was doing. By running around those people. Why wouldn't it hide to die?
Or it's the funniest rat. And he comes back and goes, hey, I fucking got him.
I got him all, bro.
Dude, you shaved me. Fucking scared the shit out of him. I'm so glad we did this. Fucking scared the piss out of him.
I lived in a house in Encino at one point in time, and it was in the hills.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of rats up there. A lot of coyotes and a lot of rats. And
Probably,
I would get them in my garage. They'd figure out a way to get under the garage door, and they would come into the garbage. So I'd have the garbage in the garage, and I went out there, and the garbage was like strewn everywhere. It's like, fuck, I got to get traps. I got traps. I hear the snap. I go out there, and it's a fucking giant rat. I mean, he's like this. His body's this big. I'm like,
"What's
oh,
up?
shit.
What's up, motherfucker?"
And I'm looking at it, but I was like, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. I'm like, I'm just going to leave this here, and I'll clean it up tomorrow. But so I go, I leave it there, and I get up in the morning, and I open up the garage door, and they ate him. The other rats ate him. There was almost nothing left.
Dude, that's why
It was
when
just the tail.
when you look into like a king rat situation where
Yeah.
they're just like stuck together, just like
Yeah, what is
fucking-
that rat king thing? Where
It's like they'll climb
all their
up.
tails get
Yeah.
stuck together.
and then they kill each other because they're
Oh,
all like
Jesus Christ.
they're just stuck together, and they're just like, I'll fucking kill you.
That's real.
Yeah,
That is
dude.
real.
Rat kings.
Rat kings. So their
Yeah.
tails just get tangled.
And then I think
And they wind up killing each other. And is it always when there's like a shitload of them around? That makes sense though,
Yeah,
right?
'cause
If you
they're
have
all-
that many on top of each other.
and then they get
look at that one in a
intertwined.
tree. Oh,
Oh,
baby
squirrel?
squirrels accidentally got rat kinged.
Look, they're all going ass to ass.
Oh, no.
Ass to ass, ass to ass. Dude,
That's a real thing. It's
we-
mummified. Look at that.
I mean, dude, think about it. If the three of us couldn't get away from each other and we didn't know why, and you just started panicking, you would wreck Jamie and
Imagine
I.
if you guys wanted to
I'm
start-
out first, and then,
People would just. Well, that means it's like a Donner Party
Yeah.
situation.
dude, that book. I just read a book about Donner Party that I'm like, all I want to do is talk about it. It's so fucking crazy how one mistake.
Yeah.
It's called Underneath. Fuck, man. This is why pot sucks, because you read books and then you're
Yeah.
like,
Well, the Donner Party is the #1 story of people eating people. When people
yeah, but
bring
that was
up,
like when you see the point they got to.
yeah.
Underneath the fucking something stars, they got to a point where they were like taking leather straps and boiling it down
Yeah.
and eating leather. Yeah, the Indifferent Stars Above. Fucking unbelievable. Dude, it's
How
like
did they, who survived?
they had I want to say like over 20 survivors, mostly women.
And how many people lived? Or how many people died, right?
Like they lost like over 60, and it was like kids, families, and they were all these different camps. And it's like it was one guy just selling. It was like almost the most American story you can do, where a guy's like, "I got a shortcut," and they're like, "Is it good?" And he's like, "Of course it's good." And then they're caught in the Sierra Mountains with like under like 15 feet of snow, like insane shit. Where they had to, and then like they talk about eating the people, and it had to be like one woman didn't want to know if it was her husband or not because her husband had died, and she's like, just go mix up the meat, just go mix it up, so I don't know that I'm eating my beloved John, you know.
God.
But and those guys got trapped, and then they come out. The end of that book is basically all about PTSD and about how all these people that survived were like that old timey thing where like we don't talk about that. They just pushed it down.
How could you keep it together after eating a person?
Just coming back and being like,
Normal.
Yeah,
Super
hey.
normal. I stayed alive because
yeah, it's a nice day.
I ate this old lady.
Yeah, this fucking old guy died and I took a hunk of his thigh. Also doing the thing of dressing a human like a deer or something, where you got to be like, oh, fuck, man. Oh, fuck. Cannibalism really is the only thing for all humans where you're like,
Well, it's the only thing that there's a disease that prevents it.
yeah, it's like, stop.
Yeah, there's a disease.
Really?
Yeah. It's what is it called? Jacob's Creutzfeldt. That's what it's called.
Is it like mad cow disease?
Yes, exactly.
So it's like it causes holes in your brain?
Prions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a prion disease. I think it comes from eating human. It's either brain tissue or neural tissue.
Dude, if you have that, you just tell on yourself. You're like, I have that. They're like, so you eat people, and you go, well, I was in Taiwan, and I was at a place. I didn't know what it was.
They fed me. They
Yeah,
lied. It wasn't on the menu.
They said it was monkey brains, and then they
Oh,
brought it
God.
out, and it was fucking.
You're not supposed to eat monkey brains either, bro.
Really? I mean,
No, I don't think
isn't that
you
a
are.
delicacy over there?
Yeah, but I think primate prions. The thing would be like, I don't know if people have gotten, mad monkey disease, like mad cow disease, but mad cow disease comes from cows eating other cows.
Yeah, they put cow in
Yeah.
the feed,
And they
then
put
the cows.
not just meat.
Yeah.
They put cow brains and neural tissue and whatever the fuck. What is it? What is the actual thing that causes the prions? Is it Jacob's Creutzfeldt from eating humans?
Jeez.
It's either the brain tissue or it's the.
This says it's just from contaminated meat, not necessarily.
Oh, but that's
human,
no. But you're talking about mad cow disease, right?
No, so-
Creutzfeldt Jacob.
Oh well, you see that, but that is what it means. It is mad cow disease. We go, pull up that word and then mad cow disease.
Dude, personality changes is
I
funny.
think it's still the same thing. I think it's a prion disease.
But just,
See, it is mad cow disease.
dude, what's
Right?
so funny about that is it says
Yeah,
it changes your
okay.
personality.
So it is the same as mad cow disease. No, CJD is not related to mad cow disease, although they're both considered TSEs. I don't know what a TSE is. Only people who get CJD and only cattle get mad cow disease. Okay, so it's a similar because it's a prion disease, but it's not. So if that's not mad cow disease, we can catch their prion disease too, right? Like we can catch like, so people definitely get a prion disease from eating people.
Yeah.
And they definitely get a prion disease from eating cows that ate cows.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to say?
Yeah, I think
but they're not the same. It's a different disease.
I think when mad cow disease came out, we didn't know what the human variant was. And I think it was just like, because they're similar, they're like, oh, it's mad cow disease. But in reality, only cattle can get mad cow disease.
Right, so we're getting a similar disease from...
It's basically the rule, don't eat your own.
Yeah.
It's just nature being
and
like...
don't eat what ate its own.
Yeah.
Don't eat other things that eat their own.
Copy of a copy?
I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why rats are just not considered delicious. I left that dead rat dude for one evening.
Yeah.
And he was gone.
And they were like...
There was like feet left and the tail.
Also,
and they ate everything.
The one rat that was like, dude, I heard fucking Mark died in that garage. Let's go eat him.
Fuck Mark.
Yeah, just
I always want to eat his fucking eyeball.
Fat ass. He was a fat fuck.
I want to
eat
always
that
got
fat,
the first garbage. Well, yeah, you wanted to be first, Mark.
Now we're all going to eat you, you stupid dead fuck. We're
Bro,
all
they ate
going to
him
eat
quick.
you. Yeah. Dude, coming back out and seeing that, like seeing nature work.
Yeah.
Almost like those old school time-lapse videos where you watch the skull deteriorate and then like the grass grow around it and shit.
Yeah.
Do it in a day where you come out and you're like, oh shit, it's gone.
I think it would be a buzz. I bet if you put cameras out there and got a slow, it would be just like,
Well, that was
10 rats at the same time just eating them alive.
Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman, that serial killer.
Oh yeah, that's
he
how
would go
killed
to
people.
he would go to Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and he found this caves with rats, and he would put a fucking video camera and watch people get eaten. He would just put them in there alive, and come back a week later, nothing. In that book by Philip Carlo, The Iceman, they talk about how this motherfucker Kuklinski would watch those videos eating sandwiches and shit. Like, that's how cold he was. He was like, yeah, I'll watch this shit. Dude, I got in. That was a weird phase. When you're single and you're explaining to women why you read about Richard Kuklinski so much, you're like, nah, dude, I'm cool. Don't worry.
His interviews are chilling. Was it at HBO?
Yeah, it's called, it's like a Confessions of something.
The Iceman, something like that?
Yeah, there's one where the last 2 or 3 are done by a female psychologist. The first one's this guy who's like trying to goad him at one point.
Oh, Jesus
And he goes,
Christ.
just real quietly, he goes, you see that? You just made me mad. And it's one of those things where you're like, get the fuck out of the room, dude. Get the fuck out of the room.
Jesus Christ.
Those stories in that Philip Carlo book are fucking insane about how he would be like, the Gambino family would order a hit in Florida and they're like, put some pizzazz on it. And he would feed the guy to a shark or some shit. Like real crazy shit.
Saddam Hussein's sons would rape women and feed them to their dogs.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How do you do that post-nut? How are you that mean post-nut? How do you got that much fucking vinegar in you?
I heard horrible stories.
Yeah.
About the 2 sons were apparently like
Uday and
Kusei, like
Kusei.
full-on serial killers.
And their
Game
dad,
of Thrones style serial killers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I know they used to torture the Iraqi soccer team. They would like electrocute their nipples when they fucking didn't do well.
Christ.
Which is already, there's so much pressure
But
on
those
the game.
2 sons, see, I think there was a document or a film about those 2 sons. Isn't there? Was there a Uday and Kusei film? They were supposedly some
Well,
evil,
good news. Coming to
evil
ABC,
motherfuckers.
it's 2 brothers. Just trying to sitcom it. 2 brothers that do whatever the hell they want.
Could you imagine if your dad was Saddam Hussein?
Yeah,
Devil's Double is what it's called.
What is it? Can you put it up?
Wait, hold on.
Is that a fictional or is it a documentary?
dude, that
I
is,
believe this is a fictional movie.
or just being cousins with them.
Oh,
You're like, dude.
they're coming over for dinner. You're like, I hope he doesn't kill me.
You're like, oh fuck, dude, Uday. How'd the national team do?
Yeah, this was
Remember that guy in Devil's Double? Fact-based
Fact-based.
drama. Iraqi Lieutenant Yahya is forcibly drafted into being a body double for Uday Hussein, Saddam Hussein's depraved elder son. Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. When did that come out? Last year?
2011.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I remember hearing about that. But dude, I would love that's like Uday Hussein's like a guy where you're like, I'll do a deep dive. I'll go learn about your crazy ass.
Pull up an article on how evil they were. Let's see if you can find something. It was terrifying shit, man.
Oh, by the way, those Donner Party stats.
Yeah, look at that. Uday, career of rape, torture, and murder.
Just to fact check myself, those Donner Party stats, I don't know if that's true about the murders, but it felt right. I just want to let you know.
I was looking stuff up about it.
I do that all the time.
There's a lot of info on it.
I just toss it out. Nate always calls me on it. He's like, is that a Soder fact? And you're like, yeah, it's a Soder fact. Yeah, dude.
Christ.
These guys, if you're Uday Hussein and your dad is Saddam just running shit, you're going to feel very empowered to be a fucking psycho.
Look at this. Hold on. Search for public appropriation appears to have taken over in the mid-1980s when Uday first took a close interest in the sport. Footballers say he never really understood or showed much interest in the game itself, but was desperate enough for a win that he would phone up the dressing room during halftime to threaten to cut off players' legs and throw them to ravenous dogs.
Just in between it, and they go, hey, Uday's on the phone. Uday's on the phone for you. And you're like, hello? I'll cut your fucking legs off.
And feed them to ravenous dogs. As football overseer, Uday kept a private torture scorecard with written instructions on how many times each player should be beaten on the soles of his feet after a particularly poor showing. He also carried a grudge. Once you came to Uday's notice, he never left you alone. The only time I managed to get away from his eyes was when I went outside Iraq. Star performer Habib Jafar told The Guardian last April. Fuck, dude.
Damn, dude, read that next one.
Oh, Uday's excesses carried over into his private life where he had a reputation for ordering any girl or woman who caught his eye to be brought to his private pleasure dome.
Pleasure dome, dude, which sounds so fun to get invited to.
Jesus
if you're like, dude, do you want
Christ.
to come to my pleasure dome? You're like, yeah, absolutely. And he's like, it's not good. It's Uday Hussein's pleasure dome.
Oh, my God. In 1988, he bludgeoned to death his father's bodyguard in front of horrified partygoers.
Yeah,
oh my God! He also shot one of his uncles in the leg. The murder, shootings, and other erratic behavior put him in permanent disfavor with Saddam. He was briefly exiled to Switzerland, and when he was allowed to return to Iraq, he was never again deemed suitable for succession.
Damn, he got cut off.
Whoa.
Which means, you know how much fucked up shit you got to do for Saddam Hussein?
Scroll back to what we were looking at before, or like a little bit before that.
But you know what I mean? You know how much fucked up shit you got to do for Saddam Hussein to be like this? That's too much. I'm gassing Kurds, but this is too much.
What a scary person.
Yeah.
To have your father be a dictator and you're a murderous
And
psychopath.
you're a problem for him? Your dad's a murderous dictator, and you're the problem?
You're the problem. He sends you to Switzerland. Go be neutral.
He's like, dude.
I'm going to send you to Switzerland. See how they do it. Do it like that.
It's like that Ben Affleck meme where he's smoking. He's just outside. He's like, oh, day, I got to fucking get rid of him. This kid's nuts.
Can you imagine Switzerland? Where, they're not known for being violent at all. And all of a sudden, that dude fucking moves in.
Yeah, you're putting one of those fucking attack dogs at a poodle school. You're like, damn, dude. Also, him being your neighbor. He's like, Uday. You're like, Uday Hussein? He's like, yeah. And you're like, fuck, dude. I would invite you over to watch soccer, but...
I felt like when you read stories of like ancient kings and dynasties and their sons and the evil princes and... It's almost like that's the pattern that always happens.
Yeah.
The sons of dictators are like ruthless.
I always think that with mafia kids. A lot of mafia kids. If
They're
you got
born into it.
But you got a guy that like makes his way from like Sicily or up in Brooklyn and like makes a made man and he's making it, and then they have those kids that are just like they saw the power their dad had, so they didn't have the beginning part.
Right.
So then they're like, I got the power. You fucking respect me. And you're like, yeah, but your dad went up the ranks. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just powerful people with their kids. I'm so glad I wasn't the son of a powerful man.
Oh
my
what a
God.
burden.
I was a son of a very fun drunk. that's where clowns are made.
If you were the son of like a scary, forceful guy, the problem is people resist that shit. They don't want that.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They want to be their own man. They don't want to go into your line of business and take over the family business and fuck, man. That's like, how many stories are about that where the man has got to get away from his dad?
I don't want to do the business. I'm forced to do the business. It's always a storyline where it's like, I'll go back to running my dad's factory and fucking whatever.
Right,
it's like, because it ain't your dream.
It's not your dream. And sometimes dads want it to be your dream.
Whenever I see comedians, like children of comedians, get into it, or athletes.
Yeah.
Like the athletes, Ken Griffey Jr. is so good at baseball that he was better than his dad. Do you know how fucking crazy they played on the same
crazy.
team? You got to be so good at something to be like, I'm gonna go on my dad's field and I'm gonna be better. Like Kobe Bryant's dad, Steph Curry. These all guys of great of NBA players,
Right.
And then they go and they're like, watch this. So
Floyd
that shows
Mayweather, his dad fought Sugar Ray Leonard. He was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Mayweather Senior was awesome.
Yeah, you forget that he's a junior.
Yeah,
And he's the greatest fighter, possibly greatest boxer of all time.
in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, watching him roll that shoulder and just absolutely destroy people.
If you just look at boxing in terms of like how often you get hit versus how often do you hit the other guy, he's the best ever.
Yeah. And it was, and he's the son of, so it is, you know, it's not a sweeping rule of like, if you're the son of someone, like you're going to suck. Probably. But if you're good, you're going to be fucking great.
Right. But
Because you got that extra pressure that it ends up getting behind you and pushing you.
the way him and his uncle and his father talk, I imagine that they were always super competitive from the time they were young.
Yeah.
Like he grew up being they're super competitive. They're competitive about talking shit. They're competitive about all kinds of things. So it's like that hive, like growing up with that all the time, and the boxing skill
Puts you in a place where you're down on the cards in a fight. Who's that guy from Argentina that he fought? Maidano? Maidano, yeah. If you watch that fight, he's up on the cards early, and you watch Mayweather breathe it out and just refocus, and you're like, that's what you get from growing up around all that shit. You can focus in and...
Well, he always has an amazing card. Maidana cracked him. He caught him. He was one of the few guys that actually hit Floyd in his career. It was like Sugar Ray Mosley hit him once pretty good, and Maidana hit him once, and it was at the end of a round, and he clipped him, and Floyd wobbled a little, and the round was over. But it was like, whoa, like that dude could hit.
And then he just came back and walked him down, just wore him down.
And then the
Just got
second
the
fight
point.
they had was even better.
Yeah.
The second fight they had, it was a shutout. He's like, I know exactly what you do.
Yeah.
And this time I'm ready for it, and I'm still mad that you hit me. In that
Can you imagine
first
having
fight.
the best guy mad at you for hitting you, and you're like, dude, I don't know, I have to.
Floyd is just the best technician ever.
Yeah.
His technique, it's flawless. His movement, his understanding of distance. One of the funniest things that he ever did was he fought this. There's this guy who Tenshin, who is he's a huge star in Japan in martial arts, kickboxing and stuff like that. But he's a smaller guy. But he's like a very exciting young prospect. And they paid Floyd to box him. This guy fights at like maybe 130 pounds.
Okay.
He's a small guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
so he's smaller than Floyd.
Yeah, he's a lot smaller than Floyd. I mean, I want to say he maybe fights 136. I'm not sure.
I love that.
He's
Just a
not.
little-
He's
just-
not very big.
Just a fucking squirrely guy that can get in there and
but
fuck your shit up.
Floyd's way bigger than that.
Yeah.
And
What-
Floyd didn't even look like he worked out at all. He walked in there with a big smile on his face. He didn't particularly look fit. He didn't look ripped.
Yeah.
And he just beat the fuck out of this dude. He beat the fuck out of this dude so bad that people thought it was a fixed fight. They were calling me up, dude, you got to see this fixed fight. Floyd Mayweather was involved in a fixed fight. And I watched it, I go, that's not fixed.
Yeah.
That's what happened to you, bitch. If Floyd hit you, you would go down like that.
You gotta-
the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, but when you get whooped by someone not in shape, the excuses out of your mouth on the whack back, you'd be like, yeah, I don't know, man. It must have been something I ate.
I don't think Floyd ever gets out of shape. Don't get me wrong, but he
Yeah.
wasn't shredded. He
That's-
wasn't like he looked like. Look at him here.
Yeah,
Look at he just walked him down like it was nothing. Actually, he looks pretty fit there. He looks
That,
pretty fit. I'll take it back. Maybe it was in my mind. I decided that he looked smooth.
But I mean, when you
Look at him
watched
smiling.
when you watched all those 24/7 documentaries, his thing was like he always just loved to go to the gym.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's not as ripped as he's been in other fights, but he still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, he's so relaxed, dude. He's so much better than this guy. If by the way, if Tenshin could kick him,
Yeah.
he'd be fucked. I mean, 100% fucked.
Would they ever do that fight?
No, Tenshin would fuck him up.
So
listen to me, 100% he would fuck him up. See where Floyd's leg is right there?
Yeah.
100% Tenshin would fuck that leg up. 100%.
Well-
And then you could only take a few of those. Like, look, okay, just boxing. Floyd has let him survive for a minute, right?
Yeah.
And if this was kickboxing and Tenshin could kick his legs, this fight would be in grave danger of being stopped because Floyd would be fucked.
Yeah.
His legs would be falling apart, and this dude would be chopping at him. And look at this. So that was the one. They
Yeah.
said, dude, that's fake. That's fake. I go, what are you talking about? That's one of the greatest boxers the world has ever known against a guy who's like 15 pounds, 20 pounds lighter than him.
Just looking around like, fuck, dude. what
And
the
he's a
fuck?
young kid. I think at this time he was in his, I want to say he was in his early 20s.
When you have fights like that, like like the original UFCs.
Look at him fire back, though. The kid's a prodigy in kickboxing. But
He's getting
my
rocked
worry
on the
was
side.
my worry was that this defeat was so crushing. The way it happened was so absolute. The way Floyd just sort of walked him down with his. He didn't even try to not get hit. He just had no respect for him.
Oh.
Anybody that thinks that that's not real is out of their fucking mind. But I got a lot of people calling me. A lot of people go, bro, you got to see it's a fixed fight.
Dude, the one that lands that puts him down, you're like, hell, fuck, dude, please stay down.
Look, it's still going on.
He's like, Jesus, what did I sign up for?
This is the thing. He knocks him down 3 times. So Floyd's just walking him down. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not even using any of his boxing. He's got his hands up. He's just looking for openings to crack him, and then he cracks him again.
Damn.
I think that's it. I think it's a 3 knockdown thing.
But there's no, I mean, obviously not Floyd Mayweather, but there's no way they would do that, right? With
Kickboxing, no. Floyd wouldn't do that. Floyd would have to be broke.
Yeah.
He'd have to be broke, and they'd have to pull up the Brinks truck. But it's not good. It wouldn't be good. It's not good.
Just because it changes, it adds a whole
Changes
different element.
everything. Changes everything.
Now, what about if you added like a kickboxer wrestler, like I was saying, like with the first UFC?
It depends on what kind of puncher you're talking about. So, like, if Mike Tyson fought a kickboxer, you still would bet on Mike Tyson in his prime, because Mike Tyson would close the distance and smash that guy with 1 or 2 punches so quick that the leg kicks wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
He would just be on you, and before you knew it was a swarm of knuckles.
Just up
and
in
you're
your
fucked.
shit? You're
Yeah,
like,
you're fucked. But Floyd is a technician.
Yeah.
Floyd's not like a one punch, just smash everybody guy. He finds his spots, picks you apart, and fucks you up.
Yeah.
That takes time.
Yeah.
And when a guy's
Just
kicking
gotta set it up.
guy's kicking your legs, you don't have any time. You have no time. So the only guys who would, I think, would, like Shannon Briggs fought Tom Erickson in a kickboxing fight, and Tom Erickson kicked his legs. But Tom Erickson was like more of an MMA fighter. He was really a really good wrestler, a big giant wrestler. But Shannon Briggs starches people with 1 punch.
Yeah.
It's a very particular kind of power you have to
Yeah.
get in there with a kickboxer, I think.
Yeah.
Because the danger of just getting your legs removed, it's too hard to, if you're not used to it, you have to train for a long time to accept and check them. And also you have to condition your legs to be able to get beaten up like that.
Yeah, don't they like roll out the nerves and stuff and their shins and stuff to be able to get kicked? Like
No, they
with
just
the Muay Thai.
They just kick things. They
just kick things.
Yeah.
It's like fuck, just go kick stuff.
I mean,
dude.
it over time, it definitely gets harder just from clashing shins and hitting elbows and hitting knees. It all gets. What happens is you get like these micro fractures all over the tops of your shins from colliding with things. It's like having cauliflower ear, but all over your shin.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's like.
I think for me the biggest thing would probably be to stop saying "ow." Ow.
I think they just get numb, but they still break their shins. Like world-class kickboxers still break their fucking shins.
Yeah.
And fall down with their leg like dangling.
Yeah, man, like that Anderson Silva one.
Yeah, just like that's a perfect
man.
example.
Oh.
Anderson Silva was a elite striker, and he still cracked his fucking leg in half.
Dude, I
Tyrone
remember-
Spong. There was this guy, Gokhan Saki, and Tyrone Spong fought, and Tyrone Spong was top of the food chain kickboxer. And he threw this leg kick, and Gokhan checked it, and his leg just went snap.
Chris Weidman,
Yep,
right?
Chris Weidman.
I remember that one recently.
World champion MMA fighter still broke his fucking shin. I mean, you don't think his shins are conditioned? They're
Yeah.
conditioned as fuck.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And then
it's still bone, you know?
These couch warriors are like, fucking broke his leg.
Fucking pussy.
You
should drink more milk,
what
bro.
Oh, dude, milk is delicious. Drink more milk.
Yeah. Drink more milk, and apparently...
Just get your fucking leg broken, dude. That's got to be insane to have your leg snap like that. Have it wrap around.
Conor McGregor. Another
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Conor had a fucked up leg going into that fight, it turns out. They think he had a stress fracture on that before, he even threw the first kick in the fight.
And it just breaks.
It just snapped off. I mean, because there was no like big moment where it looked like, oh, that makes sense that would break a leg.
Yeah.
There was no moment like that.
Just a small check.
Like the Weidman fight was like super clear. The Uriah Hall checks it and the thing just snapped. And you're like,
yeah, dude, it looked like a
"Fuck,
fucking
dude."
Stretch Armstrong arm.
Fuck.
Where it wrapped around. Huh.
See, Chris Weidman's move was if I just full power leg kick you in the calf with the first kick, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be fucked, and then I'm going to jump on you. And Uriah Hall's a skillful striker. He just knew how to check it. He just checked it.
That was a tough one. That's one of the ones where I remember, like, I do shows on Saturdays.
Let's watch that. Let's watch it again.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Chris Weidman breaks his, because it's a cautionary tale.
Oh, dude.
It's a cautionary tale of this. This is you don't play fighting. That's the best way to describe it.
This is the Anderson Silva when he broke it on Chris Weidman.
Ugh.
It was the same night as the Rousey fight, and I was coming back from the road, so I DVR'd the fucking event And I was very excited to watch that.
Let's hold this thought.
Yeah.
Let's tell this story when we come back because I got to take a piss. I've been holding it in for the
I'm
last
gonna take
10
a piss
minutes.
too.
All right, we'll take a piss. We'll be right back.
All right.
This is, you're going to talk about Anderson Silva breaking his leg against
Chris Weidman.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
Well, I just want to thank you as someone that's listened to your podcast for finally answering the question if you take piss breaks or not.
Yes, we take piss breaks.
Yeah,
if you have to. I always tell everybody, if you just say it, it's no big deal.
But I wonder how many guests do you think you've had that people have to piss, but they're just like
A lot.
A lot that are
I
like.
see them squirming. I start to see them squirming.
can
They're
see it in
keeping it
their eyes?
together.
You're
Yeah,
like-
they're trying to keep it together,
like,
but they're getting distracted.
Say it, motherfucker. And they're like,
I should probably like tell more people, like if you have to pee, just say it. It's no big deal.
yeah, I think that would, you got to lead it because,
Yeah.
dude, you were like, I got to piss. I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah, it was getting to the point where I couldn't concentrate. I was like squeezing my testicles area, urethra,
you're like,
whatever I have down there.
yeah, fucking
I was
shut the
squeezing
tube.
it, whatever that pipe is.
Shut the fucking
I was
tube.
like, Jesus Christ, this is getting rough.
So this,
All right,
this is
the Chris Weidman
This is the
one.
Weidman break. But before the Weidman break, the Anderson Silva, when he broke it on Weidman, I had it DVR'd, and I came home, and my fucking roommate was having a party, and he didn't tell me that was going to happen. Our other roommate, our third roommate, who's not a comic, and I was coming back from the road, so I was tired, and I was like, dude, I don't want this party. And so he wasn't even fucking there. His friends were there. And
What?
so I kicked everyone out. I'm like, get the fuck out of
His
here.
friends were partying at your house?
Yes, and he had left to go meet a girl. This is like
Oh my God.
2012, 2011, and I'm like, dude, get the fuck
How many people?
10
Just
people.
hanging around at your house.
Dude, and I came back
And
from
then
the...
none of them lived there but you.
No. And my spider sense went off.
How weird is
I was at the fucking baggage claim, and I was like this.
So weird. Oh,
What if
really?
he has a party? And you know that thing where you get yourself mad? Where you're like, I know exactly what I'd do.
And then you come over, there's a really party.
And I look and I go, where is he? Where's Pete? And they're like, he's not here. He went to meet up with a girl. And I was like,
So you came home to a party that was going on without Pete.
yeah, he had left, and he had gone to meet up. And there's people, it was his friends. A couple of them I had met, but most of them I didn't know. So I'm like, hey, dude, his friend that I knew saw my face. I put my suitcase in my room, and he's like, hey, everybody. He was cool. He got everyone out. I had to take a walk. I was so I've never taken a walk because I'm so mad. So get high, get food, put on the pay-per-view, watch all the fights. Pete comes home at the start of the Weidman-Anderson Silva fight, and we start fucking screaming at each other. What the fuck? You having a fucking party here? What the fuck? Ba, 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 ba. Anderson Silva's legs break. We both go, oh! It was on the DVD. We were like both like two dice clays, like, oh! Stop the fight. We both sat down. We were like, what the fuck?
Oh, my God.
And then it's one of those things where, you know, how guys just are like, all right, don't
bonded?
do that again. Yeah. We were like, holy shit. But we were like, fuck you, dude. Yeah. I was like, you're not allowed to have friends over anymore. Like I'm his fucking dad.
Oh my God, that's
He's
hilarious.
like, fuck you. We're like yelling at each other in that break. I was like, oh shit. Oh,
That's a weird one, though, when you have roommates and you come home and there's a gang of people in your house. Like, ugh.
yeah, especially because I hadn't quit drinking yet. So it's much more forgiving when you drink because you're like, hey, party.
When did you quit?
2013.
Oh.
I quit. Joe List, Nate, and I was our drinking crew.
Oh, yeah?
And Joe, we all quit. All of us are done. Norman's the last of the Mohicans. Norman's the last one from our group that still boozes.
He likes to get drunk. He likes it. He likes his booze.
Yeah.
He likes to party.
Yeah, Norman's fun.
He
But
likes to have fun.
we used to, but List quit. And then he was the first person I ever met that quit drinking booze and was like, it's fucking awesome. Everyone else was white knuckling it. Gotta work the program. You gotta do this and this. List
just quit?
was my first friend that's like, you're gonna get better at comedy. You're gonna like life better.
That's what we were talking about that, but we didn't finish earlier. We were talking about Attell. So Attell did Insomniac, and you know he was always partying, always drinking.
Yeah.
And I saw him in L.A. at the Improv one night. He was hammered, and he was looking for an after-hour spot. And then it was like very soon after that he decided to sober up. And then I saw him maybe a year later. I'm like, oh my God, his act is so tight and sharp. And I'm like, he's still like he's more dedicated to stand up now. And it's like
Got more time.
He's not feeling like shit all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I started I want to say like since COVID, I used to smoke weed before every set. Like before headlining sets, in between shows, go smoke a joint. Stop doing that when I'm headlining. And it almost was the same benefit.
Really?
Yeah, I like getting high during 15-minute sets in the city if I'm at the cellar.
Right, for fun.
Yeah, smoke a bowl. Try this bit. I'm going to try this out. Let's play around.
Right.
But like now I'm getting to the point where I want people that come out to have a great show. So I want to be the best, and I want to do really well.
Right.
So it's like if I stopped smoking weed and it became better shows and more fun after the show to be like, after that late show, you're like,
That's interesting. So
smoke a spliff.
Your 15-minute sets, you fuck around.
Yeah.
And so like you feel like in a 15-minute set, maybe the marijuana helps you a little bit because
Absolutely. I loosen up.
Yeah.
Big Jay will always say he makes references he normally wouldn't make when he's high. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense because you're feeling it.
Yeah.
You're kind of feeling it in a different way.
Well, your brain's tuned into a different thing.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting to me how differently it affects people. You know? It's so just the way they talk about it. It's like some people get super lazy on it. Some people get super motivated. They start thinking, "Oh my God, what am I doing with my life?" And they start getting weirded out by that. And
that's always kind of what it's been for me, where I get high I'm great at being lazy, but I'll get high and then immediately be like, all right, I gotta get better jokes. Like it just goes to the default programming where I'm like, I have to fucking write better jokes.
Yeah.
I always, no matter the show, I'll like 3 of the jokes and then 4 of the bits I'll be like, what the fuck is that?
Time to get going.
Yeah, time to get going.
Time to get going.
And when you're around people like, Shane and Big J and fucking Sam Morril and Mark Norman, you're seeing these people do jokes that you're like, or List will come out with like 10 minutes. I'm like, fucking, let's go. I gotta go. Or go watch Colin.
Yeah.
And Attell. It's like, that's good, that motivation. But weed for me adds the extra, like, remember, you gotta write better jokes.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, all right.
Well, it's so much better than the things that make you confident.
Yeah.
The things that make you confident are dangerous. Like
That's
amphetamines.
why, or booze, and you get
Yeah.
Mike Tyson punching on you on a JetBlue flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that guy's probably on a bunch of shit. The guy who Mike Tyson punched, apparently, according to the New York Post, has a lengthy criminal history.
Well, in that case, if he's had a lot of fuck ups and he's a bad person or whatever, he's going to go to jail. At least he got to get his ass kicked by a famous person.
If you find yourself where Mike Tyson's reaching over the back of an airline seat and punching you in the face, I think you probably earned it. I think you probably earned it.
Yeah, I don't think he fuck. You
if
probably
you climb into
I don't think it was for kicking his chair. You know? I don't think it was.
He's a fucking guy was super annoying, man.
Yeah, and he was like over the thing. You just can't.
Yeah, it's like people get crazy. They think that just because he's, he's Mike Tyson, he's famous, he can't just punch you. You're annoying him. He's gonna just fucking hit you like a normal person would.
Hecklers do that though.
Yeah.
That. Like they'll be talking and you're like, hey, shut the fuck up. And they'll,
right.
Oh, but and you're like, well, you can't talk.
Yeah.
They didn't bring you down here. They didn't put you up at the fucking extended stay. They're not amplifying you and stop talking. That's why booze, when people are like, when I have friends that are like, I'm coming to your show, dude, we're going to the bar first. You're like,
No, don't.
Who wants to get drunk and sit silently in a dark room?
No one.
You want to get drunk and go pay attention?
Not only that, if there's a guy who thinks he might be funny, that's the time.
They all think they're funny.
Yeah, they want to. I gotta know what to say.
I got you. And then the classic after the show, I helped, and you're like, man.
I helped.
Yeah, I wonder if that guy was like, I helped that flight. That guy that got beat up, I was helping that flight. Everyone, I made it entertaining for everyone.
Did you see the lady that got duct tape on a flight?
Great.
They duct taped her face.
Very funny.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, they run a frat in the sky.
What do you have to do to get your face duct taped?
You got to be saying some crazy shit with their like, dude, fucking duct tape her.
What is she doing?
I did it like the Sopranos. It's just like takes, hot takes. I'll say it right now. Bryan Cranston wasn't that great in Breaking Bad. Everyone's like, yeah, you got to be an obnoxious asshole to get duct taped.
I want to know what they said she said.
Yeah, anybody out there.
Duct tape your mouth?
If you hear that, please reach out to us. Tell us.
Am I imagining that they duct tape her mouth, or did they really duct tape her mouth?
Yeah, they got
it. Yeah, they
it.
fucking duct tape her mouth.
Damn, dude. Did she sue?
I don't know, man. I think she's in trouble.
I think
woman. Look at this. She got fined $82,000.
Damn.
Woman duct taped aboard American Airlines flight faces record $82,000 AA fine.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
she tried to go for the door, dude.
So the FAA is going to fine her, but is that for sure? The woman assaulted and bit a flight attendant after she attempted to open the forward boarding door. Oh shit. Okay. We're restrained for the safety and the security of other customers and our crew. Oh, my God.
Damn, dude. Someone going for the door.
So she bit somebody. That's why they did her mouth. She could be heard screaming, you, at passengers, filing past her as flight attendants calmly nodded their goodbyes. Oh, wow. So she's screaming at them while they're walking by.
It wasn't in the air, though. Okay.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, I think they were grounded.
Oh, they were on the way to fly?
Which almost is like...
So before the thing even got in the air?
If they're grounded and they duct taped her, you're a fucking asshole.
So
dude,
they duct taped her when she was on the ground.
Dude, you're fucking on the... That's the best part of it. They should lead with that.
Oh, here it is.
She saw,
the agency said she attempted to hug and kiss another passenger, tried to exit the plane mid-flight. Oh, she was in the flight.
Oh, okay.
She was on the flight.
All right, never mind.
So tried to exit the plane mid-flight and bit another flyer multiple times before the crew restrained her.
Oh,
Damn.
Hold on.
What?
This
Different
might be
lady?
Yeah.
Was it a different lady?
Against a woman. This says FBI proposed to find the second largest ever against a woman on a Delta flight.
Okay, so it's a different flight. So duct tape lady wasn't the lady from Las Vegas to Atlanta.
Okay, so this is a second flight.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so this one, this is only 2021.
Damn,
She's
dude.
biting people.
We're setting new records.
There's another story where there is like the duct taping it's been happening to multiple people. It happened to there's a male that it happened to. He was talking shit like my
What,
parents.
they just duct tape people now?
Yeah, dude, and then you're in Sigma Chi. That's how it happens.
So what did they
You're
do to the
officially in a
lady?
frat.
If that was a lady that was on the ground that got duct taped like that. So if the other story was another person that bit a bunch of people.
Yeah.
What did this lady do that they didn't just remove her from the plane? They just said, "No, bitch, you're staying here."
Yeah, you're gonna fucking
Because
fly.
if it's on the ground, that sounds so insane.
Yeah, just pop the door open and get her the fuck out.
Yeah, you open the door, you call the cops, they get her out. Like they duct taped her.
We have to fly this lady
That
here.
makes no sense.
Damn.
Is that, are we right here?
Yeah, she was saying. Yeah, she was. I think she was just fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
Can you use that excuse anymore? Was she just fucking
Well,
crazy?
there's levels to that. Okay, and don't be ableist, Dan Soder.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Women
Shades
shows
of crazy.
Duct taped. Video shows woman duct taped to seat after trying to open airplane door.
And apparently, this is great. I love the post covering their ass. An apparently unhinged woman. She's just apparently. We don't know.
That's a cute thing.
You're like, dude, she's fucking taped to a
That
chair.
is wild.
As everyone's getting off.
Would you keep filming her? Like, would you sit right in front of her and try to goad her like you would a zombie? Like, if you saw a zombie,
Yeah.
and if there was a zombie that was chained up in someone's basement,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "Holy shit, it's a real zombie!" I'd be like, "What, bitch? What?" I'd want to see.
Showing those dead teeth and
if
the
I knew
dead
the
gums.
zombie could not break free, you sure he can't break free?
Yeah.
I might get close to him. I'd be like, "Fuck you, bitch."
Feed it.
Yeah, I might be thinking.
You want brains?
You want brains?
You
See?
want brains?
Should hate brains, motherfucker. You wouldn't be here
Stab
right
me in
now.
the fucking head. I seen the show.
They're like, here, they give
Yeah.
you a Louisville. They're like, take a swing at him. You can hit him in the legs.
So if you were on this flight,
Yeah.
would you like just put the camera in front of her and not say anything?
I would honestly think of. I would think of something fun to say. I would want a good parting.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Seems like you'd want to focus on her for a few seconds.
According
too.
to this person, here's the scene.
Okay.
It sounds kind of crazy.
2-hour flight, July 6th, from Dallas-Fort Worth to Charlotte, North Carolina, had been delayed for at least 3 hours before it finally departed at midnight. But about an hour into the trip, chaos broke out. This woman said that in a subsequent video describing the hectic scene, flight attendants began turning on the lights around 1:30 a.m., she said, and we see all flight attendants running up and down the aisles frantically, kind of like whispering to each other. The plane's crew began locking bathrooms, grabbing bags from overhead bins, and wouldn't say what was happening. It was just kind of like chaos, and no one knows what's going on, she continued. Finally, the pilot spoke over the intercom, asking people to stay in their seats, referencing to a bad situation in the plane right now, according to the passenger. Then we're gradually starting to hear more and more screaming. And we're like, wait a minute, she noted. Just as the plane was about to land, a flight attendant who sat near them explained that a woman with an apparent mental issue had an outburst, like had the urge to get off the plane, and she was saying, "I need to get off this plane," and she went up to the exits and started banging on the doors, saying, "You need to let me off this plane."
Oh.
I guess it took 5 flight attendants to subdue her and like literally take her down. So she said of the incident, which was first reported by TMC, they pretty much took her down, put her in the seat, and duct taped her.
Damn, dude, what they don't talk about is the first guy that noticed because she's not telling people what she's doing.
She
So
just
someone's
runs up to the door.
Someone's got to notice it.
Oh my god!
And you're just reading your magazine, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Has anybody ever opened up one of those doors?
I don't know. I mean, that's gonna suck everyone out, right? That would just be
I wonder how easy it is to do.
probably not that easy because they always talk about the weight of the door, and you got the pressure of being in the sky.
I wonder if you can open it while the plane is moving. Like, I wonder if there's some fail safes.
No, well, I hate going with like the impossibility and being like you can't do it, but it's physically impossible to open a door mid-flight.
Well, what if you're like Thor?
What, the air pressure?
Thor Bjornsson?
What if you're a son of Odin?
What if you're like Eddie Hall, like one of those gigantic powerlifter strongman dudes?
At
Yeah.
cruising altitude, I should say.
Okay, so
like,
up at like 30,000 feet.
Impossible?
that's airplane. According to this Business Insider, which best source for this information.
Yeah, they're aviation.
Airplane
specialists.
doors are impossible to open at cruising altitude, which is about 36,000 feet. Pressurization, mimic conditions at 8,000 feet above sea level to keep passengers alive.
Imagine having the balls to like know that this person you're traveling with is completely insane. Like maybe you're dating this lady, and she's like, "I've got to get off this plane.
Yeah.
I've got to get off this plane."
Shut up,
and
Rachel.
she runs to the door, but you know the physics,
Yeah.
so you just go like, "Yeah,
You're doing
what are you gonna do?
You're just doing a boyfriend and an argument thing.
Yeah.
Are you gonna leave?
You gonna
can't
open
go.
the door in the middle of the flight?
Do you want to? Let's
Does that
address
seem
this.
smart?
Can we talk about this, or are you gonna try to open the
Do you
door?
think maybe that's selfish to the other fucking people on the plane that you just want to fly to the ground and everybody else has to?
The guy behind you's going, hey, don't prove nothing. Don't get her. Get your girl. What's going on? Don't prove nothing. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god!
Yeah, that would be terrifying to witness. Because again, you don't know how strong this bitch.
You know how fucking
You know how
crazy
strong this
she
lady is?
Yeah,
She can
she-
just fucking.
Well, people are crazy. They're really strong. They
Yeah.
rip their arms apart trying to do something.
Dude, if she did a bump of PCP before that plane took off, and then was
Right?
like, I'm gonna start cooking at 30,000.
My boxing coach got his finger bitten off on PCP and had it replaced with his toe,
What? Which toe?
his second toe,
That would
next
look
to the
so-
big toe.
My toes
that
are so
became
weird.
his index finger, and he had it curved permanently so he could throw right hooks.
Wait, so his hand just looked
So
like
when
this?
you shook his hand, he had this going on.
So it's like a toe.
He never really like shook his. He shook his hand, but you got a finger in there.
So the toe is this part.
Yes, the toe was this part. So, but it was permanently bent. So you could pinch things with it, right?
Yeah, a little
but it was
pincher.
permanently bent. It didn't straighten out. It was like this. But you could do most of the things you could do if you had a finger there. But he got it bitten off in a street fight while he was on PCP.
Well, he was on PCP.
Yes.
That's why I
Yeah.
walked away. Oh my God.
Okay. After the cargo door tore off in flight, caused an explosive decompression and ejecting 9 people from the plane. Oh my God.
Damn, that was in ¡89.
I remember that.
Damn.
There was a flight and the people just got sucked out of the plane in mid-flight. That was a Hawaii flight, right?
yeah,
Honolulu.
going to
Yeah.
Honolulu.
Yeah, that's
Or
it.
near Honolulu.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
Man, that fucking that always scared me when I saw it in movies. Whenever they show that, they show the person just be
Yeah.
like, just getting, and you're like, "Rah."
Wild way
Yeah.
to die, bro.
But also, if you're ready for it, you could do some cool poses on the way out. You could Superman on the way. It's like,
I think your brain would be flooded
yeah,
with psychedelic chemicals because you would absolutely 100% know you're going to die. There's no way you're going to survive. And you would probably get a golden geometric pattern that opens up and takes you straight to the afterlife.
yeah. You just come and shit at the same time. Your body's like, let it all happen.
And you just pass through and you pop on the other side like on impact. Boom.
Yeah, dude. And in reality, it just looks like a jelly sandwich hit the ground, whoever's
Yeah.
near you. They never talk about those. Those people that watch people land.
Yeah.
You're just like,
not good.
oh, it's coming through the air.
It's not good.
Or yeah, it's splattering.
We were talking the other day about the squirrel suit guy
Yeah.
who slammed into the bridge. Did you ever see that?
No, I saw the one where he went down and just didn't get the
didn't
one.
oh,
Yeah, so it just goes,
Christ.
and
This
it's just,
one guy hits a bridge, and it sounds like a car accident. Because he hits this bridge going, who knows how fast they're going, like hundreds of miles an hour maybe.
It's like probably over 150-pound guy.
He thought he was going to slide through the hole in the bridge, and he just didn't calculate it right, and he couldn't turn in time.
You know, those extreme sports are awesome, but you got to pull through in order for it to be awesome.
Bro, that is crazy.
Coming
It's
down and be
so
like,
crazy.
"Hank."
And the screams of the people who realize what just happened. Just
Yeah.
like, because they came to see this guy triumphantly fly through the bridge in a squirrel suit.
And then you watch him get accordioned
Here
on
he
a bridge.
comes. Oh, my God.
just getting fucking stuffed.
Just the impact.
Yeah, that's got to be.
That impact is so insane.
If you're standing on that bridge and you feel that,
oh my God, you would
I
totally
think-
feel it. It'd be like an asteroid.
yeah, it would be like a truck. I mean, like a Pinto.
Right.
I mean, you know, obviously Pinto much heavier than a human, but I'm saying like
Listen to it. I want you to listen to it.
Oh wow. Okay, let me get that one first.
What
What
do
the
you
other
got?
one? Well, this is like a guy that crashed and survived.
Oh Jesus.
You
Yeah.
get to the point where he crashes.
Is this a parachute guy or a
Same
wingsuit
wingsuit,
guy?
same.
Wingsuit. Okay, Jesus Christ. He's gonna survive this?
Oh yeah. Boom.
So that's what he hits?
Yeah.
Impact.
oh,
Oh my God,
Oh.
dude.
There's someone following him, so they have that angle too.
Does he pull out of it?
No.
He just tumbles to the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a parachute.
But it wasn't open.
damn, dude. Did they have the audio of him being like?
Sun melted his wing.
Oh, that's Icarus.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you put a deep quote on you fucking chomping it in a
You
wingsuit.
Being a crazy person in a flying squirrel suit.
Yeah. You're like, put up that Icarus quote right when they see me eat grass. Dude, that's fucking wild. Doing those extreme shit like that. But I was saying, if you're on that bridge and that guy hits you, I bet you get PTSD from that shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you bet. I bet you wake up in the middle of the night.
You hear that thud? You hear that thud. I bet you're like, knowing what it is, you're like,
Bridges are weird places to die because you know you're not supposed to be there anyway. Bridges are not supposed to be a place where you stay. It's like, just getting over here, climbing over this
Go,
fucking
go, go, go.
water,
Go,
keep
go, go, go.
moving. Like, imagine if you could have a house on a fucking bridge. So here's the guy. Like, listen to this. Listen.
ooh. Damn. Damn. Yeah, that guy hit. Like I thought he hit the side of the bridge. I didn't realize he hit the fucking. He hit whatever was on the top of the bridge.
Man.
Oh, he did hit the side of the bridge. Oh my god.
Dude. Oh my God.
Oh
The
man.
sound it makes.
Yeah, and there's like a big crew there, so they knew that shit was gonna happen. You watch that, dude.
So it looked more like he was just trying to go over it, and he
Yeah.
just miscalculated. I thought he was trying to go through like an opening. I think I only saw this angle, the first angle. The second angle, it looks like he was coming over the top of it. Imagine just.
They said 120 miles an hour on the video.
Oh my God!
then-
Just your fucking head hitting a beam.
And then that
Your
like
legs severing.
everyone witnesses it,
Oh my God!
and then you gotta be the first guy to leave. You gotta be like, well, I gotta get out of here. Everyone's like, dude, that guy just died on the bridge. You're like, I'm late.
Yeah.
You
What do
Larry
do?
David it.
You have to,
You're like, I gotta go.
you have to throw away the rest of your day.
Yeah, you
And
can't
mock
go.
grievance.
You can't. Yeah, exactly. You like you're upset, but you're also like, oh, well, I didn't really know him.
Yeah, we didn't know him at all. We
Yeah.
just went to the spot where we were supposed to fly over.
I saw it on the news. I was
Yeah.
just going to support.
It's
And
such,
then
a,
he landed on the bridge.
it's such a horrible way to die, too.
Yeah. Squat being splattered. Yeah, no thanks. No, definitely.
Probably instantaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like
It's
your brain
just-
goes
you're
through your
gone.
head.
Boom. Yeah.
Everything's all at once, which might have to be, I always think about that when you're like, if you were to fall off a building, would you want to aim your head down
I don't
so
think
it's.
it matters.
You don't think so? You don't think if you go legs first?
Crush. Everything just explodes.
But if it doesn't, then you're just like, God damn
Yeah,
it.
but nobody does that. That's like one of the things they know when people are faking passing out is
Yeah.
that they always catch themselves. Like sometimes people catch themselves when they are blacking out because they're not totally out. But when someone pretends to be out cold and they catch themselves on the
Yeah.
way down and then still pretend to be out cold, like I just saw you catch yourself.
I saw your movement.
Because you have to be like insane to let your face hit
Yeah.
the ground.
That's
Nobody
why-
does that.
As a pro wrestling fan, I
Right,
always
when
love when
they
they
do
do
it.
that. I'm like,
That's so gangster.
yeah, when they're like, they just take a flop. I mean, Ric
Yeah.
Flair, that was his thing. He would
Yeah.
do a couple steps and go face down on the mat.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, just do, but it's,
But nobody goes like this, right? Face first. They
Yeah.
they could kind of go sideways a little, right?
I mean, Ric
They
Flair
don't
would
land
turn
with their face.
but he would do a walk and then
Right.
drop his whole face and then get back up.
Right, but like when you see someone like here's one example: when Jake Paul knocked out Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
All these people were telling me that was fake.
And you're like,
And I go, watch how he fell.
Yeah.
Nobody falls like that.
Yeah, those knockouts are when they crumble in a way where you're like, he's not catching himself.
He fell face first.
Yeah.
Face first, didn't stop himself at all.
The ones that always impress me are the knockouts where then the punch restarts the engine, where they're like taking multiple punches and they're knocked out and then they get reawakened by like.
It's very rare.
Yeah, but seeing it, you're like.
It's kind of a thing though. It's a thing when a guy gets rocked and then sometimes he gets hit and that wakes him up somehow or another.
Yeah.
It's weird though. It's not normal.
No.
Normally when a guy gets hit and he gets hurt, the second punch hurts him more and then he gets knocked out. Generally it's like that.
Yeah, dude. I would have just been like, leave me asleep. Don't hit me again, you fucking asshole. I was nice and out.
Maybe.
Oh, dude.
Depends. These guys all want to win. They want to win so badly.
Yeah, they
It's
just
like
keep.
part of what the restart is.
How high do you think the highest person to fall and survive fell from?
Oof.
Oh, man. Yeah, you can't ask any questions. This might be I'll just jump in there with a number.
Go ahead.
1,000 feet?
No.
Higher?
I'm going to go on 100 feet.
100. How big is 1,000 feet?
33,300 feet.
That's cruising altitude.
That's cruising altitude.
I only know that because they always tell us that.
What did he land on?
She, flight attendant. Only person to survive plane
What?
crash.
72.
What?
Yeah, they tried to figure out how exactly, and the speculation was right here. Here's what happened in the crash.
The fuselage separated from the rest of the plane and hurtled towards the ground in a heavily wooded area near the Czechoslovak village of, good luck with that word. It crash landed in the thick snow at a favorable angle, which is most likely what saved Vesna's life. Additionally, Vesna's physicians determined that her low blood pressure caused her to quickly pass out when the cabin depressurized, which prevented her heart from bursting upon impact. Holy shit. Vesna was found screaming inside the wreckage by Bruno Honke, a local villager and former World War II medic who was able to administer vital first aid before rescuers arrived. Wow. Although she survived, she sustained extremely serious injuries and spent the following days in a coma. She suffered a fractured skull, 2 broken legs, 3 broken vertebrae, a fractured pelvis, several broken ribs, and temporary paralysis below the waist. Amazingly, Vesna was able to walk again after 10 months, albeit with a permanent limp due to the twisting of her spine.
There's multiple people that have fallen from over 20,000 feet, though.
Oh, my
and
God.
survived.
How is that fucking possible? So she was in the plane.
Oh, yeah, she's like the number one, dude. Like, you bring that up, you see other articles.
Yeah.
She's the known. She's
Yeah.
like, I fell from the heavens.
Jesus Christ.
My God. Surviving that?
Jesus Christ.
No one can complain to you the rest of your life. Just being like, dude, I had a bad headache. She's like, yeah, I fell out of a plane.
Oh, my God.
I survived a 30,000 feet fall.
Oh, my God.
Fuck.
This guy landed in a glass ceiling in Germany in World War II. His parachute didn't work, and it says the glass ceiling probably managed to save his life.
Damn.
Oh, my God.
He fell from, I think, somewhere like the range of 20,000 feet.
The glass ceiling actually managed to save his life, cushioning the fall enough so that he only had some minor injuries.
Holy shit.
Fell from a hotel,
Bro, oh, my God.
17th floor.
How did he live?
Same sort of like landed on a roof.
Plummeting through the
Sorta.
17th floor of the building onto an overhanging roof. From there, he fell to the ground, somehow landing on his feet.
Dude, sticking the landing?
Incredible. Suffered serious injuries, including internal bleeding and multiple broken bones, but was lucky to simply stay alive.
That's what I mean.
He lost his balance and fell through a window.
Oh my God.
But you know,
Oh my God! Fucking imagine
When
you're
you
just
said-
spacing out in the morning. You step on your sneaker wrong. And you
Whoa.
go face first over the window.
You're not 500 feet in the air every
You are.
fucking morning.
Yeah.
Jamie lives in the sky.
where do you live?
He lives
Up high.
up high in an apartment building.
Oh, man, so you're worried about it,
You
huh?
look out
No,
his
no.
window.
Not
He's
worried,
in the
but-
clouds. Lightning is outside his front window.
That's what Jay's apartment in New York's up there. It's like on the 23rd floor, and I'm like, you're in Sky Palace, dude.
Yeah, bro. That's the best view in the world, though.
Yeah.
The view in Manhattan when you're in like a tall building,
Yeah.
and you're in with all the buildings, and you get to look out. My friend's dad had he was like a banking financier type character, and he had this apartment in Manhattan, and we went to it and checked it out. It was fucking insane.
Yeah.
It was fucking insane. This was like when I was in my early 20s. So I'd never seen a place like this before.
You didn't know it existed?
No, it was
Yeah.
poor.
Yeah.
And we're in this place. I was like, holy shit. The view was like a science fiction movie.
Oh, looking down over the
He's
whole
in-
city?
He's looking down, but he's also in it.
Yeah.
So it's like there's all these lights and buildings,
Yeah.
and it's all like right in front of you. And at nighttime, it's fucking spectacular.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I get it. Because I was like, why would anybody spend millions of dollars for a fucking apartment in New York City? And then I went to this guy's place. I was like, oh, this is what rich people do. This is why they do it. They do it for this crazy view.
There's the old K-Rock. When I worked overnights there, you would go into the green room, like the old Howard Stern green room, and there was these windows that would look over, I want to say on like 58th Street or like 56th Street, and there were these buildings that had fucking houses on them, like suburban houses.
Wow.
On the top of these buildings, and you're like, that's a level of rich. They weren't like complete, like with a yard and shit, but you saw it and you're like, yo, that's where someone lives for sure. And I would just sit out there and look at them and be like, this is fucking crazy.
Something about being on a porch and you look down.
And it's just city.
Just death.
Yeah.
Just fall to my death at
But
any
it's-
moment.
it
Any
like-
moment you could fall to your death.
And like the house was back and it had a little bit of the roof. You're like, this is fucking crazy. How much money do you have to
on
be
the
to be like,
roof.
put a house on the building?
I know you've sold out all your apartments, but hear me out.
I want to go on the roof, 4-bedroom, 3-bath that I would find in a very nice part of Long Island. Yeah, that's what
Wow.
But this is like,
That's a shitty one.
that's
though.
yeah, they were like,
But that's got a yard and shit.
that's
That
what I
is
mean.
wild. That is wild.
And the guy that worked,
That's wild.
This old overnight guy, Cheesemo, that worked at K-Rock was like, dude, you want to see these houses? And I was like, all fucked up.
Look at that one.
I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's crazy.
Wow. There's
Yeah,
something about being that high. It's so terrifying, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wake up. I bet you have the craziest nightmares.
Oh,
if
man.
you live on like the 100th floor,
Just falling.
especially if you do bong hits.
You're like, I'm fucking
Right?
falling. Oh, man, if you fall on the floor, falling from your bed, you're like, is this all? Do I go all the way down? Just that fucking primal reaction. You're like, "Ah." Yeah, fuck that. Stay low. Stay low to the
Stay
ground.
low. Keep moving.
Keep moving.
Why are you up so high?
Get out of there. Don't get duct taped.
Do you know they say that it's a part of our primate past that we like to put the master bedroom upstairs? Because in the olden days, you'd have to hide in the trees from predators.
Yeah.
So when we were, some sort of lower primate, and we're trying to get away from big cats, that's what they did. They tried to hide in the high branches.
I buy
Same
it.
kind of thing.
I buy it.
Like you're in the high, like if someone breaks into your house, you're above them.
Yeah.
What's going on down there?
You always think about it. Yeah, you got to come up these stairs if you
Yeah.
want to get me. That's most house you have,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah,
That's what
for
it is.
real.
It's just an old primate thing.
Or the meat missile gets you.
Dude, if you got that meat missile, open that door and give a little whistle.
Do you know how excited someone must be if someone finally breaks into a guy's house who has a meat missile? Just trained and ready to go. Just sitting there every day. Just sitting there every day hoping someone would. Hoping someone
Today
would.
is your day.
Yeah.
Go feast, my.
Like the way that pit bull was acting on that treadmill.
Yeah.
That's how they are. I'm biting you in the dick.
I
Can't wait.
I think that's how it would feel to know karate. And someone fuck with you. I feel like that's the same feeling when if someone fucked with me and I was like, all right, here we go, baby.
It's very fun when you watch a video of a guy who doesn't know how to fight and he picks a fight with someone who does. And he's a total douchebag and he gets flatlined.
I can't even think of what the video would be called, but on E-Bomb's World, when the old internet videos, there was this guy, I want to say British, and they're in this alley, and this guy's up on his porch yelling at him, right? And he's like fucking with his recycling bin, and this fat dude's got his shirt tucked into his thing, and he's just like talking. You can't hear what they're saying, but he's rattling it. And then the guy steps out into the yard and just does this like confident pose, and the guy that was yelling goes, and he just does like 2 moves and just fucking knocks the guy out. And you're like, that's cool as shit. That was like, I know what I'm doing. All right, let's move a little farther out, and I'm going to do it to you. It was fucking cool. I wish I knew what that video was called.
There's a lot of those videos.
He's just got a
That's funny.
fat gut, and he just does like something like that, and he just fucks this dude up.
I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the one that takes place in a parking structure and he hits him with a leg kick and then the guy
No,
moves
it's all
toward-
hands.
Okay.
He just moves to the side and hits him once.
This one's even better.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's this dude,
Fire it up.
this cholo, and he's got a cigarette. He takes a puff of his cigarette before he decides he's going to fight this guy. And then he takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
Okay? He takes his shirt off and he puts it aside. And he walks towards the guy like, man, I'm about to fuck you up. And this guy backs up like a skilled fighter, hits him with a leg kick, lifts him up in the air. He falls crashing to the ground.
Yeah.
The guy gets up like, oh, we kicking now? And he moves towards him again because he doesn't know what to do because he's fully committed to fighting this trained killer.
Yeah.
And then the guy jumps on him, grabs him in a single leg, and knocks him unconscious. So check this out.
Damn.
Oh, this is a different one. Oh, this is where it starts. This is how it starts. So this guy's like chasing these guys off him. They're talking shit. Give me some volume.
Mix this food, bro. No, mix this food.
Oh, that's right. He fought
got
this
this
guy
cut.
first.
Mix
That's
this
right. He
food,
fought
dog.
2 guys.
Damn.
So he fights this guy first.
Hey, keep it over here, dog.
And it was
So he's fucking
the
this
guy in the
up.
black shirt is the trained
Exactly.
fighter.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
he's the guy that's by himself, and they're fucking with him. Look at that leg kick. Boom.
yeah, dude. And
He's fucking that guy up.
also the way the other guy moves.
He doesn't
is-
know what he's doing.
Yeah. It's just,
Keep that volume on. I
Hey,
wanna
over
hear
here,
what
over
he's
here.
saying.
Keep it over
'Cause
here.
You say, why are you throwing kicks? Why are you throwing kicks?
only at this moment do I
Yeah.
identify with that guy where you go, ow.
You're lucky you didn't get kicked in the dome.
So he's leaving. He's saying, you're lucky. So the guy's like, you want to keep going, bitch?
Chill, fool. This is a fight, dog. It's cool. You don't want the fucking kick. It's all right. Don't worry. You want to kick, homeboy? You want to kick? Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
kick, homeboy? Yeah. So look, he takes a hit of his cigarette. He says, you want to kick?
Oh, gee, dude.
Watch this.
Ooh.
Oh, it's worse. So there's the leg kick. Watch this. He chases after him.
Oh! Head on the concrete. Damn. Cross-eyed.
Yeah.
Knocked him out cross-eyed.
That's what happens. You don't want that in your life.
Dude, and then just me walking up with my fucking car thing going like, I'm the Nissan. Chip, chip.
I didn't see anything.
Hey, guys, cool. I'm cool. I just need to go get some Wendy's.
That impact is horrible.
Yeah, you
too.
hear that
What-
fucking
Does it say the guy's name?
No.
Oh.
R.I.P.
I thought it was look. That guy's absolutely a trained fighter.
Yeah, but that guy, like, it's like watching swimmers. They just know how to move in the water.
Yeah.
Where they just can fucking...
Well, he was fucking up that other guy first, and that other guy looked like he knew like a little bit, like he was a little shocked that this guy's fucking him up.
Yeah.
Like he probably felt like he could fight a little bit.
That's got to be a moment for you. You're the toughest guy in the neighborhood, and then you go against a guy that knows what he's doing, and you're like, fuck, you're not supposed to be this good.
When I first started doing jiu-jitsu, it was one of the most humbling things I'd ever experienced in my life, and I had won a bunch of martial arts tournaments.
That's crazy.
And I
Because you
started doing jiu-jitsu, and I was getting fucking mauled. I was stunned. I was like, oh my God, I'm so helpless.
Yeah, then you just realize you're like, fuck,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I felt when I was telling you I sucked at football. You just have a guy grab you and just be like,
Yeah, hold you down.
And you're like,
yeah.
trying to move. Fucking, let me up, dude.
Well, you're a big guy, but you're a normal big guy.
Yeah, just normal.
There's other guys that are not normal big. They're giant big.
Yeah, and
There's a
they're-
different level of big.
Strong and aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I knew I wasn't aggressive when I was like 5. I knew I was a silly boy. When I was 5, I loved wrestling. Like I said, lifelong pro wrestling fan. But I did wrestle. I actually wrestled 5, 6, and 7. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, but immediately knew I wasn't good at it when you see these other little killers that are just like mow you down and like take
Yeah.
you. I'd be like, hey, dude, like as they're like double leg takedown to me, I'd be like, stop, you're taking this serious. I'd wrestle, but I just saw the difference where I was like, that kid only goes forward and I'm just wanting to hang out and bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, fuck this. I knew it wasn't for me. I was like, God bless.
I wrestled 1 year, my sophomore year in high school. 1 year.
You got to be. It is a mindset. Wrestlers are the most impressive with their training.
Yeah,
the
they're
shit
the most
they do.
mentally tough.
Khabib is insane. Like
Yeah.
he's so fascinating to learn against. But then also like Dan Gable and all those guys and like that thought
Yeah,
process. You're
yeah.
like, those are fucking tough.
You have
guys.
to be. You can't make it as an elite wrestler without
Yeah.
being tough. No one is just talented. No one.
Yeah.
Everyone's disciplined.
Everyone's got that work.
Everyone. And they're not doing it for the money because there's no money in it.
How
I mean,
long
the
is-
amount of money in like amateur wrestling is extremely small. Unless you're a Jordan Burroughs, he actually makes a great living doing tournaments. But he's the best of the best.
Yeah.
He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's phenomenal.
Just come to the WWE.
He's a world champion. I mean, he's like there's levels of levels, right? So at that level, But the regular level of like college amateur wrestlers, they're doing it for free.
Yeah.
And they are insanely dedicated, insanely disciplined, insanely conditioned, insanely skilled.
It can walk right through you.
Walk right through you.
There's a great comic, Greg Warren, who's so funny.
I know Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
rules.
Greg from back in the day. He's a really good wrestler.
He was an All-American at Missouri.
Uh-huh.
So you like meet this guy and you're like, yo, you're so fucking funny. And then you're just like, oh yeah, he could double leg takedown. Like he could.
Adam Hunter's a really good wrestler.
Yeah, Adam Hunter was a great wrestler.
Yeah.
There's like, when you find out that, I always think it's fascinating because you're like, damn, dude, you were really good at a very hard thing.
Yeah, that's a mind.
Yeah.
You have to be a strong person to do that. It's also like a culture of suffering.
Yeah.
Like every guy likes to suffer more than the other guy. Like every guy likes to cut more weight. Every guy likes to do the extra miles. Like there was guys on my wrestling team that we would all be fucking exhausted after practice, waiting for our moms to pick us up, and these motherfuckers would be running laps and just yelling and just getting fired up and shit. You're like, oh my god, they wanted it, but those are the guys that won. The fucking insane ones were the ones who were the winners.
Yeah, didn't like Kurt Angle win a gold medal with a broken neck?
Yes, a broken neck.
You got to be.
Yeah, you got to be fucking
That's
insane.
how you got to be wired.
You got to be a different kind of human. He was so good, he beat you guys with a broken neck.
Crazy.
That's how good he was. Like, imagine if he was healthy.
Imagine with a good neck.
Yeah, imagine
fucked.
if no neck problems, how he would fuck you up.
Yeah, that is, man, it's like wrestlers when you see, even when I played football in high school and you saw what the wrestlers had to go through for training, you were like, fuck that. Like those stairs and the fireman carries, all the shit that they would do.
Didn't Dan Gable get to the Olympic gold without having a point scored on him? Is that true?
Yeah, he didn't have
what it was,
1
right?
point scored
That's
on him
right.
in the Olympics.
That is, you know how fucking insane that is? To be an international competition against the very best of the best in the biggest tournament on earth against the overachievers and savages that make up the mass of amateur wrestlers all over the world, and no one can even score a point on you. In the 1972 games in particular, Gable won all 6 of his matches without giving up a point. Damn! You don't know how hard that man is. That's a hard man. Like you don't make. It's hard to make a person like that.
In that Sam Sheridan book, A Fighter's Mind,
Yes.
when he interviews Gable, it's one of my favorite interviews because Gable says the theory of killers in the room. You put people that really intimidate you around you, and you're going to get better. And I always like that. That clicked on for me early in comedy, where I was like, you got people around you that 21 Olympic
qualification and Olympic matches. He scored 12 falls and outscored his 9 other opponents 130-1. During his 6 matches at the Munich Olympics, he went unscored upon. That's fucking insane. 130-1.
You have to be like, if you're the one, you're like, guess who got that fucking point on Dan Gable?
But that's how good he was.
Yeah.
I've met him, and he's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And he paid the price physically. Like his body's got, his knees and like all these operations, and it's a lot.
He was a warrior.
It's a warrior. I mean, those guys, to be that mentally tough, you push through pain, you push through injury, you push through anything. It's like that. It's a mindset thing, and that's a thing that wrestlers are known for.
Yeah.
One of the things about MMA is, there's tough guys in everything, right? There's tough guys in kickboxing, there's tough guys in jiu-jitsu, but almost all the guys who came from there's coffee in this area, but almost all the guys who came from wrestling are tough. Like there's some guys in other disciplines that maybe they're not known for being tough. They're just different levels of skill and different levels of champions and stuff. But with wrestlers, it's like all of them. All of them are animals.
You obviously would know much more about this than I would, but Dagestan.
Perfect example.
Those guys.
Perfect
Is
example.
that just builds wrestlers that are unbelievable?
Well, they're really technical. They're really aggressive, and it's really popular.
Yeah.
And when you've got guys like Islam Makhachev, you've got Khabib Nurmagomedov, you got all the other guys that have come out of Dagestan that are high-level wrestlers. You got high-level strikers. Zabit came out of there, and he's a striker. He's like a stand-up guy. I mean, he has a ground game as well, but he's known for his like wild traditional martial arts techniques. So it's a tough part of the world, man. They're tough fucking people, and they're really disciplined. And I think there's something about the fact that a lot of these guys are very religious.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about that in terms of the reward of discipline and the adherence to a very strict moral, ethical, and behavioral code.
If that's how you're living your life, if you're doing that in wrestling, it's almost like it's easy. You're like, I do this already in my normal life, so this isn't going to be hard.
There's like a disproportionate amount of really elite fighters that are coming from that area. And a lot of it also has to do with Khabib's dad, and unfortunately he died during the pandemic, and now Khabib's taken over. Yeah. And he's basically the coach for those guys now, which is amazing.
And I love that because Khabib, it's like Dan Gable, who then went on to Iowa and just won all those championships as a coach. And it's like, you love seeing, I love seeing that. I love seeing a fighter.
Well, his dad taught him how to coach too. Like he coached with his dad. So he'd always coach his teammates. And I mean, he grew up with like an elite trainer as a father, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's got to be.
I mean, they all like worshipped his dad.
Man, that's got to be insane. Just
insane.
Or to be the member of the family that it just isn't aggressive.
Likes to read books and play D&D.
You go, guys, hold on.
I just like to live in my head.
My Sarlog got murdered by a war party. And they're like, yeah, dude, you're fucking... Yeah, that's got to be...
That would be a hard thing for a dude like that, to just accept a son that just has no ambition to conquer.
Yeah. Alexander the Meh. He's just like, I don't know. I kind of want to live off what you did.
He's misanthropic.
Yeah. He wants to spend his time helping others. You're like, we dominate here. But it is. I mean, Alexander, there's got to be so many of those disappointments where you're just like, you build this thing up. Like, Uday Hussein was a disappointment to a psycho father. Who is what, you know what I mean?
He beat his trainer to death? Is that what they said?
He beat his bodyguard. He beat his dad's bodyguard.
Right. His dad's bodyguard.
Which are like, you know, if it was that sitcom, he's like, Uday, did you kill my bodyguard at a party?
Why did I think it was his trainer? That's how high I am.
Yeah.
I forgot already.
Hell yeah.
Imagine you have your favorite bodyguard and you're the king of Iraq, and your son, you come home and your son turned him into a puddle. Like, what the fuck kind of a demon am I living with?
You think you're mad when your dog eats a pillow. You're like, dude, you killed the guy that's supposed to protect me.
You know how wild that is.
Yeah.
Maybe they were connected. Like, maybe he was trying to tell his dad, like, hey, your son is a fucking psycho.
Yeah, and he's like, no, he's fine. Yeah, and then he's like, did you tell my dad I was a psycho?
Yeah.
Did you say that? Oh, fucking, I'm going to show my dad I was a psycho.
Oh, my God. That's probably exactly what happened. The feeding the soccer players to dogs
is crazy.
That was the thing that they said, that they had kept dogs and they would feed people to dogs. I don't know if that's a true story, but what I had read in one of the articles about him was that they would just grab women and he would rape them and feed them to dogs.
I mean, if a guy has a thing called a pleasure dome, he's either a swinger or he's going to feed those women to dogs.
Yeah, either he sells Molly.
Yeah. He's either into touchy drugs or he's going to fucking feed them to an animal. Yeah. Because that's crazy. I mean, just like picking up people off the street. And if you're the son of a dictator, not even like, we see what the children of politicians do. Imagine of a absolute. Yeah. Just this, my father 100%. Rules with an iron fist.
Right, you've seen him kill people.
You know what he's going to do. Yeah. And I'm worse than him. And you're like,
you probably saw him kill people growing up.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I'm sure they executed people for treason or mistrust or...
A dictator doesn't just stay comfortable.
Right.
There's people that come for you.
Right, always.
Always. So you got to, he forced
friends and party guests into his monkey's cage. According to Time, Uday's demanding demeanor extended to leisure and frivolity. At parties, he demanded others match him in drinking, and his tolerance was notoriously high.
Dude, you got to be hungover and wake up in a monkey cage?
He had a pet monkey named Louisa, and when he got drunk, he'd force other inebriated partygoers and friends alike into the animal's cage. Reportedly, Louisa also imbibed and would attack the guests tossed into her cage. So she was hammered?
Yeah, get the monkey drunk and then make it fight his friends.
Former bodyguards also detailed a cage of monkeys Uday kept at his club specifically so that the animals could witness him assaulting women.
What? He wanted monkeys to watch him rape?
What? Click on that link. What the fuck?
So there's
But the Cage of Monkeys link, it's a link?
No, it's a different link. So.
Oh, it's a different thing?
There's a real long story from Time Magazine where a bunch of that was coming from that was like really hard to read through because it was a really old article.
Damn,
this
dude.
Is not from that, though.
Dude,
he had a place where he would assault women. Like, he assaulted so many of them that he had a place, and he had a cage full of monkeys that he would make watch.
That he would be like, watch this, monkeys.
Okay, the bodyguard said he was disgusted by Uday's activities. He points to a floor-to-ceiling cage in the corner of the club's kitchen where he says monkeys were kept for Uday because he'd like to have the animals watch him when he was deflowering virgins. It was his to make the singers who entertained Uday at the boat club gulp down 1.5 liters of a cocktail, a combination of 90 proof alcohol, often with some drugs thrown in. I would line up the entertainment against the wall, and the bodyguard said, pointing to the side of the garage, and I would take a stick, and I would say, drink, drink, you have 10 minutes. If any of them didn't drink, I hit them with a stick. Then if the singers still refused, they were given a street beating, meaning their faces were untouched, but they were pummeled until they could hardly stand up. Oh, my God.
Damn, man. And you're being
So he has a team of people that would go out and just grab people for him.
I want to talk about how good
Holy
comedy
shit.
is, man. I mean, can you imagine walking into a Funny Bone and they're like, drink this 10 liters, drink this liter, and you're like, dude, I wanted to do a new joke about Tinder, and they're like, drink this fucking booze. You're like,
You don't want to read that article unless you really want to like fuck with your mind.
Yeah,
because it's ultimate evil. It's that thing. It's like you see, it's in the Game of Thrones. It's in all those tales of a king and he has an evil son. Like sometimes it's even a good king, but the son grows up with ultimate power and he becomes evil. And they're torturous and vicious. It's like it's a cliche almost to have a torturous son of a dictator.
I wonder if they at one point started noticing that and they're like, hey, if you got a kid, just send him to live with an uncle. Give him the fucking, can you send him not to be, we don't need a murderous psycho.
How to not raise a psychopath for dummies.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a king.
Just send him to a cousin, someone you know, a college friend.
Oh, you're going to tell me more.
I mean, let's talk about them feeding people to lions.
The lions pounced. I saw the head of the first student literally come off his body with the first bite, and then had to stand and watch the animals devour 2 young men. By the time they were finished, there was little left but for the bones and bits and pieces of unwanted flesh.
Oh.
Holy fuck.
Ugh.
Look at this. Hold on. Look at the beginning of the story. Jeez. Ahmad was Usay's chief executioner. Last week, as Iraqis celebrated the death of his former boss and his equally savage younger brother, Qusay, he nervously revealed a hideous story. His instructions that day in 1999 were to arrest the 2 19-year-olds on the campus of Baghdad's Academy of Fine Arts and deliver them to Radwaniya. How do you say that? Radwaniya. On arrival at the sprawling compound, he was directed to a farm where he found a large cage. Inside, 2 lions waited. They belonged to Uday. Guards took the 2 young men from the car and opened the cage door. One of the victims collapsed in terror as they were dragged, screaming and shouting to meet their fate. Ahmad watched as the students frantically looked for a way of escape. There was none. And this is when it says the lions pounced. I saw the head of the first student literally come off his body with the first bite, then had to stand and watch the animals devour the 2 young men. Holy fuck, dude.
You know what's crazy? If you think about it, it is almost worse for the executioner. Because the guy's like, clean, you know what I mean? He has to sit through it all. He's not dying.
This is when a woman was pregnant and she was beheaded.
Oy.
He beheaded her. And the woman was beheaded knowing she was pregnant. Oh my God, I don't even read this, man.
Yeah,
See,
man.
This is like, this goes on and on and on and on and on. There's a shitload of those stories. He was a serial killer.
Yeah.
Which is insane. He
was
like
killing for pleasure and fun and shit.
And he had ultimate power. Ultimate power, and he was killing for a thrill.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I think you are so happy when the United States military shows up. You're like,
oh my God.
Please, dude, this fucking guy.
One of the things said that at the dark day was when he found the internet.
Oh my
and
God.
started looking up ways to torture people online, and then started trying that shit out.
Christ.
Dude, you're like, no, don't do that. He's like, I found this thing called Google. You're like, no.
You know what's wild? Let's think of this. What do you think would have happened if the United States didn't invade Iraq the second time? The second Iraq war didn't break out.
Shit.
What do you think that would be like now?
I have no idea. I feel like Middle East politics is so tricky with the way that all the power struggle is and everything that is.
Could you imagine if his sons were still alive?
I mean, this comes out after someone dies, and you're like, would you have seen that had they stayed alive? Would it have been more prevalent? Would it have gotten worse? Would it have... Because, Hussein, fairly old when he was executed.
Right.
He fucking might have been dead by now, and they would have you imagine that power struggle?
Right. Imagine the sons trying to take over from the dad. Oh my God. They would definitely try to kill their dad.
Yeah, there's no way they're not.
They're trying to kill everybody.
I bet that, like you said, like with the bodyguard, I bet that was the thing.
Yeah.
Where his dad was like, shit.
Right.
Uday got fucking Billy. Uday got Billy.
He probably gets everybody, man. He literally raised a monster.
Yeah. And were they arrested? Were they detained by the U.S. military?
They were killed.
They were killed.
Yeah.
In their palaces, right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because you wonder if you're like,
I'm trying to remember.
If they tried to get him, if they were like, we're going to try to bring you in.
Oh my God, why would you?
Yeah, I don't study him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Interview him. Be like, what the fuck's going on?
If there's ever a justification to just kill someone when you find them, those guys.
You just gave about 7 examples. Yeah.
But that is the number one cliche of the sons of these dictators.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That's like where that you have to think about monarchs, right? You got to think about like kings and their prince. The son takes over and they go on for generations after generations. Like how fucking psycho is like generation 3 and 4?
Well, you have to match your grandpa's energy. You got to reach up and be like, I got to fucking nah, man. I kind of want to do my own thing.
Yeah, he's the guy that took over the kingdom.
Yeah, that fought for it and took it over, and then to rule it. You always wonder if you're one of the serfs or one of the peasants in that place, and you see the new guy, and you're like, could be better. This guy might be nice. And
Maybe,
then,
yeah.
And then you see him do that shit, and you're like,
God damn it, another fucking king. You imagine what that must have been like? I would love. There's moments in history that if I could have a fucking time machine to have a realistic view of what it was like, that would be one. To see what it would be like to see like King Henry VIII and see all the peasants in the village below him, and he's like eating a giant fucking turkey leg and shit, and he's all fat,
swollen ankles. He's got
killing his wives when he doesn't like them anymore.
Yeah, just munching and killing.
And then you have to like see the difference between those people and then the regular people that are right next to him. Like how crazy this is. They have like, the civilians, or the regular people, the peasants, the people that aren't the royalty. They have to stand outside the gates and watch this, and know that all their money goes to this guy.
Just for him to watch.
He controls the military, and he was just born into this.
Yeah.
His dad was a king, and he's a prince, and then.
But that's what I mean by the third generation.
Yeah,
you're dealing with the third generation of everyone else being like,
and they're inbred by then.
Yeah, dude, the goofy teeth, weird blood,
and they're ruthless.
But they're like but that inbreeding really ramps that shit up.
Oh
you got an inbred guy being like, I want to torture everybody. But you think of that third generation of everyone else.
And entitled, raised by entitled people. So entitled psychopaths raised by entitled psychopaths.
That's what I mean, though, but to keep that power.
Oh, my God.
And you got third generation psychopath and third generation civilians that are like, we're going to fuck
off with his head.
Yeah, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, imagine having the power to just look at someone and go, off with his head.
Yeah.
And they just chop your fucking head off, and that's legal.
Yeah.
It's a legal execution.
Execute him.
Yeah.
The king would like him dead.
Oh, you, sir, have insulted the king.
You splashed mud.
They just, your head comes in a basket. They hold it up for you. Good. Give him to the dogs.
And it sounds like something we'd be doing now with overpopulation. But then they were just doing it for fucking shits and gigs.
Well, it's something
just
that we would
kill
do
that guy.
now if people get ultimate power. If someone had ultimate power like that. That just seems to be a horrible thing for people. Just like we were talking earlier about, like, I'm a guy who wins all the time. Like, you got to lose.
Yeah.
Like, it's important to lose. Like, there's a balance.
Humility.
You can't always be comfortable. That's not good either. There's a balance.
Yeah.
Where there's a balance of power. And you can't have too much power. Because too much power is an intoxicant that it seems like very few can ignore or manage. It seems like most that get into that position act ruthlessly.
Yeah.
They act like psychopaths.
Well, because they don't fear anyone. There's no balance of anything.
So
of
you
anyone.
can't get to the point where you're a king and you can never get voted out. You can't get to that point because that's what those guys are.
And also, no one's going to disagree with you.
Exactly.
Because you got all the shit.
You're going to be so delusional. You're not even going to be able to communicate with people in a normal way because they're all going to withhold information from you. They're all terrified of you.
Yeah, just get it. That's why humility.
Did you see that movie, The Dissident?
No.
It's about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No.
Jamal Khashoggi was a reporter for the Washington Times, or the Washington Post, rather.
I do know the Saudi Arabian.
Yes.
And they said that the Saudi prince ordered the hit, and the 9 guys walking in, and then
it's dark.
Yeah.
It's dark. So like imagine this is happening today with all the internet and all the ability to talk about this and films being made about it and countless articles being written about it. Imagine when it was like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago.
We were talking about that before the podcast where it's like bank robberies in the 80s. You just go do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just go to another town.
Put a fucking mask on.
No one fucking
In
knows.
the 1800s.
Yeah,
you know?
1800s, you just go ride around and be
Yeah.
like, oh, fucking, I don't know, I'm going to knock off that stagecoach.
I bet they've robbed banks constantly.
There's no...
Became a job.
Yeah.
Right? Bank robber is like a thing. Other robbers don't have its own name.
Yeah, a bank
Right?
robber, because it was so
I
successful.
guess car thief.
Horse thief.
Horse
Yeah,
thief.
there were those. But
But like, oh, she's a purse stealer.
yeah, yeah. Well, they do with Kuklinski in that book by Philip Carlo. They talk about they didn't have a national database. They didn't have.
right.
They weren't sharing information the way they share information now.
Right.
So Kuklinski could go and kill in Florida, come back up to New York, or like shoot kids in North Carolina at a truck stop, and no one knew that they were all connected until he
Of
was
course.
like, "Yeah, I did that."
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why he'd go to Bucks County, Pennsylvania to drop those bodies in when he lived in New Jersey. Because he's like, I'm
Yeah.
up in New Jersey. It's a different state. No one
Right.
fucking knows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, because you're just like, they're not sharing anything. I can get away with this.
The internet changed everything.
Everything. When you're a good criminal now, when you get away with something,
Respect.
they're like,
Because a lot of them are like the Bitcoin criminals now, or crypto criminals. They're trying to steal people's crypto coins.
I know nothing about
I
that.
don't
So it's
know
like
enough
so
about it to
fun to
comment.
think about someone just lurking around being like, I'm a crypto.
Dun, dun, dun,
I'm a crypto burglar. You're like, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck it is. So
That's
good luck.
the real scary crime these days is like digital crime. That's what
Oh,
people
yeah.
are worried about.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. And
You ever
worried
had a
about people.
notification on your email where they're like, someone used your Netflix, like, and that's my mom. You're like, oh, all right. You were signing in on your Apple TV.
Netflix apparently has got a plan to crack down on that.
Good luck.
Yeah. They have
Good luck.
They said they had 100 million people illegally using their passwords.
I can give you 4 names right now, Netflix. Call me up. I'll rat on 4 people I know.
Why? How is it so easy to do? You
just tell your
log
friends.
in, but you just log in like with multiple devices all over the place.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've gotten that email where my mom.
I guess in like a desire to make it more convenient for you that you could watch it on your phone, you could watch it on
Yeah,
your television.
I have it on my laptop. I have HBO. Like I have my HBO Max open on my laptop. I have it on my PlayStation. So
Right.
it's like I can watch it at
Right.
home.
So
Yeah.
one could be a different thing. You could
Or
switch.
just a complete different person.
Right.
Just
And one
like-
could be a complete different person,
Yeah.
or could be you're watching 2 different shows.
How do you know what I mean?
Maybe I'll have 2 different TVs.
I think there's going to be a comment, just a Netflix monitor that's like, all right,
I have severe ADHD. I like to watch things on 2 different screens.
okay, show me all the devices.
I watch a laptop while I'm watching a regular screen.
I do that all the time, dude. Yeah, I used to play video games. I'd put your podcast on and play video games.
Oh, that's different though. Like,
but
because
it's like with the video.
But podcast is perfect because it's just a conversation. Like you can tune in, tune out.
I do that with Last Podcast on the Left. I just put it on and I play video games, and then I'll be like, oh, what did Jack the Ripper do? And then come back in. That's how I found that Dahmer Party book, because I was like, damn, hold on, rewind that podcast? This shit sounds intense.
I wish I could remember all the cool things that I figured out, or rather was told on this podcast.
Oh my God.
I wish I could remember because there's so many fucking people have told me cool shit.
Have you ever
so
thought
many
about
things that we Googled and figured out?
Jay and I did this thing on the Bonfire because we have topics that we'd start and then go somewhere else.
Right.
This guy was like, I want to go through and find all the topics that you never finished. It's like, dude, that's 7 years of that.
Oh, it's
and
a
the guy
lot.
gave up.
Yeah.
Guy was in it for a little bit, and he's like, and I respect the fuck out of the effort. But if someone did that for you and found all the stuff you were told from, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Oh, and
And
things
just put
that
it in the great book of knowledge.
things you've said multiple times.
Yeah, you told this story 4 times. You always know that.
But at least it clogs, it fucks it up for liars. Because
Yeah.
like if you lie and you forget your lie, and
Yeah,
you're
or you-
making up stories.
And then you're coming back and being like, well, actually, what happened is like we got proof that this is different.
Yeah, you told a different story.
He told a complete different story.
It's the human memory is definitely limited.
Yeah.
I can tell you for a fact. At least mine is. It's I only have room for so much.
I have terrible short-term memory. Not good.
You smoke a lot of marijuana.
I don't know. But I have great long-term memory. I can remember most stuff.
Things that I care about, I can remember. Like I'm very good with like MMA stats and statistics, and
Yeah.
I could recall past fights and stuff like that.
I know wrestling matches.
Yeah, there you go.
sometimes.
Exactly, same thing. Boxing matches. I can talk about boxing matches from the '80s when I was young. I'm a very But even then, sometimes I get it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, stand-up, I always loved that. Because, growing up, such a big fan. I was also the first generation to grow up with Comedy Central. When they played stand-up
a lot.
nonstop.
How did they fuck it up?
I don't know, dude.
What did they do?
I don't, because they had it.
What did they have? They have South Park now.
South Park and
Do they have other
Daily
good
Show.
shows? Oh, the Daily Show still.
But that's all
What
it
else
is.
do they have?
I don't really know. I don't really know, but I
They
know.
were on top of the fucking world. You would go to Comedy Central if you wanted to laugh.
But also, it was
What
so
happened?
consistently, when I was growing up, it was so consistent. You put it on at 2 p.m. and watch a premium blend.
Well, when they went bad on Ari, that was a bad sign, not just of the fact that they were willing to do that, but like that's the direction. That's how they think about.
Yeah,
like,
it was
comedy.
talking to Ari about that because I had a story and Jay had a story, and we both reached out to Ari and we're like, dude, we'll cancel. And he was like, please don't. He's like,
Yeah.
I need that crew to work. And he
Yeah,
picked,
he was actually going to pay them all like for all their wages if they didn't have to work.
yeah,
He was trying to figure out how he could do it. Maybe he was going to take out a loan.
but he was also very hands-on with who got the show, and Roy Wood Jr. rules.
Yeah, Roy Wood Jr. is awesome.
He's one of my
He's
favorite
a perfect guy
comedians.
to have that. Yeah, and he's the perfect sensibility. He's a funny guy. He's a great host. He's great. Everything, all the above. But the way they did it was just so crazy. Like, so you can't do a Netflix special. If you do a Netflix special and you don't do a Comedy Central special for less money and less exposure, we're going to cancel your Comedy Central show.
Yeah,
Like, what?
yeah.
What the fuck are you talking
That's
about?
where you
Like,
start being like, well, if you were smart, you'd be like, go do the Netflix thing.
But the thing is,
which
like,
would bring
are
more
you-
eyes
yes,
to the
that-
Comedy Central.
That would be smart.
show.
But the thing is, like, are you contractually obligated to do a special at Comedy Central? If not, then this should be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Do you have an exclusive where you could only be on Comedy Central? And it didn't seem like there was. But it was like watching him get fired from a show that he created. I was there when he created it, man. I was there in the
Yeah.
early days we did it at the lab, at the Improv.
Yeah.
It was just called this, like, I think he called it Unnamed Storyteller. No, what is it in the beginning? He would have like different names for like what are the subjects.
I think
Like,
he's
one was
bringing that back.
Psychedelica. Yeah.
I think he's bringing back the
Yeah.
unnamed storyteller because we did it at the Ryman as part
No,
of the
no, he
National.
calls it the Unnamed Storyteller Show. That's not what he called it back then.
Oh, okay.
But back then he would have like names for each individual subject.
Well, that's kind of how he did the
Yeah.
episodes when it became a show where he'd be like, sex would be an episode, psychedelics,
Right. No, that is
crime.
how
Yeah.
he did it. But what I'm saying is that he would name it that. It didn't
Okay.
have a name. It wasn't like unknown. It became This Is Not Happening
Yeah.
on Comedy Central. But before then, it was just like whatever the subject was, I think.
Yeah.
I think it would just be Ari Shaffir presents Psychedelica. And people would go knowing that it was a storyteller show. He'd explain it at the beginning. He would tell a story, and then he would bring people up, and they would tell stories. But he had this idea that it would be a great way to work on bits because people would accept the fact that it is a story.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't feel as constrained to the setup, punchline, and allow you to maybe explore ideas that you didn't really know how to breach just on stage during a regular act with your tight material.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
He was
Great
also
idea.
very encouraging about it, where
Yeah.
he would be. When I did the show, I actually at Moon Tower Comedy Festival, I did his show and I did this story about being in college and living with a weed dealer and getting
Yeah.
robbed. And I got off stage and he's like, "Listen, we're gonna film in June, have it ready by then." And so then I would just be on the road and work this story out in the middle of the act, and it was so fun, so fun learning how to. It really taught me how to like write differently.
Yeah, it's an exercise in writing, and it's Ari's idea. It was 100% created by Ari. I watched it happen, and it was a unique way to tell stories. Like he decided to put together theme-based shows and have people go up and fuck around with stories. Like you would call me up, do you have any stories about drugs? You know, and we'd have he would put on a drug show, and you know, some of them didn't work, and some of them I pursued, and one of them I wound up doing on his show on YouTube. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was, but the thing is, like, it didn't make any sense that they did that. And when they did kick him off at a show that I watched him create, a show that was like uniquely
that he made.
suited to his personality too. Like he had a passion for that. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, they're going downhill. This is not good.
Yeah, and I also think the streaming services kind of blew
yeah.
everyone up because they had such a way. Every cable had such a grab on it.
Yep.
From the 90s. They were like, where are you guys going to go? They had that attitude at the end, like, where the fuck are you going to go? And streaming was like, right here. Yeah. Everyone's going to go to streaming. And now I can't imagine, appointment television now is fun when it happens.
Appointment is a great way to put it. Appointment television.
Yeah, when you're like, Sunday night, I'm going to sit down and watch this show and I'm going to keep caught up, with the show. Because now most of the time you're like, did you watch the season of... Now binging's normal.
DVR's changed everything too.
Yeah.
DVR's changed it first, and then streaming and binging changed it. I'm binging Yellowstone right now.
I know a lot of people love that.
It's fucking good, man.
I know
I was a
lot
little
of people,
skeptical.
Yeah, I'm watching that Winning Time. But see, here's the thing about the Lakers show on HBO. They're doing episodes weekly, and I binged, and I think I'm about to hit.
Oh no!
And I'm like, no. I told Jay, I'm like, no. I need more.
Yeah,
Give me more. Give me the whole
got that
fucking
with
season.
Succession.
Yeah,
Succession's fucking awesome. And I got to the end, I was like, no,
more.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just wait for it.
to wait.
Yeah.
Ozark. That's another one you got to wait.
I got to get into that. That's the one I'm in next to. That's my next.
Damn, it's good. And I think the next ones that come out are the last ones. I think they come out like next week. Right? Is that when Ozark comes out? And that's it.
That's almost like
the end of the show. You know it's going to be fucking insane.
That's almost like a binge challenge. You're like, can you get there next week? And you're like,
You want to. It's that good. It's
Yeah.
one of the best shows of all time.
I
It's
love Jason
fucking-
Bateman too.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
I got to wrap this up, brother. Tell everybody where you're going to be, how they can find you.
Yeah, Winnipeg Rumors, dansoder.com. I'm going to be in Philly at Helium, going to be in Tampa Bay at Side Splitters. I'm just on the road. dansoder.com, listen to the Bonfire
Twitter.
on SiriusXM satellite radio. Me and Big Jay's show.
That's right. My friend Bruce listens to that.
Yeah, we love love doing the It's on Faction Talk 103.
Beautiful.
Listen to
And there's the schedule, Helium.
Yeah.
Kangaroo Helium in Philly, one of the greatest clubs of
Oh
all
my
time.
God, I love Philly.
All right. Thank you,
Dude.
brother. It was a lot of fun. We got to do this more often.
Hell yeah,
For sure,
fun hang,
100%. Yeah, very fun. Do some shows together, too.
Yeah.
All
hell
right.
yeah.
All right. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.